Nigeria call obey to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. To serve with heart and might, one nation bound in freedom, in freedom.
Thank you, Madam Top. Oh, thank you for the this notice there. Yeah, I didn't unmute my mic. I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to start from the this thing that we seem to be the previous debate that we were having the earlier part one. This is part two, and this self-determination stuff that Nigerians seem to be quite. A lot of Nigerians want to talk about this on and on. Never, at least, I think the ones overseas, they always want to talk about this type of issue. So I will probably want to delve into why is it that Nigerians continuously want to talk about self-determination issues, separation, and all this stuff. And that's why I put it on my title about this self-determination movement. What is it all about? Even the Yoruba people are saying they want to go away, and it doesn't. When you look at Africa, where are you running? Benin Republic is just as messed up and is tiny. Cameroon is just as messed up. Central African Republic is even worse. So and African Republic, they don't even have a large population. It's a big country, very few people, and Greenland, but yet look at the mess that they are in. So I wish our people are thinking about these things a bit more, but I want to understand why they always feel like this is where Nigerians act. Look at now, Igbo whole group will carry this thing and run to this thing down in street to go and present it. Is that not something that we should be questioning? Why is it our people behave like this? They run to down the street to go and present their this thing. For me, the way I think about these things is I will ask myself, my forefathers, the ones that lived 200, 300 years ago, they're probably in the ground now. Some of them from what those people where they down the street do to them. And you are running to them. What are they going to be thinking? What are those your ancestors going to be thinking about? Are they not going to be rolling in their graves with your behavior? If you think your ancestors are going to be rolling in their grave with your behavior, maybe you should think twice about doing it. Because there's something you are straying away from the line of things that you're supposed to be doing, especially the ones that have been wronged. So, but that is how I look at this anyway. I just feel like I want to understand why we like to talk about it. Is it because we don't know anything else to talk about? If AY is there and Madam Tope, don't we know anything else? Why are we not fighting for what is going to help people in Nigeria right now? I've never seen Igbo go to down the street to say, why are our 4 refineries not working? Why is it that the Kuta still is not working? Why do we do this thing as if somebody is taking your Yoruba-ness away or your Igbo-ness away? Everybody, not be all of us here. They hear the other day where everybody they knack pidgin English as if now they are this thing, their second, in short, they're their first language. We take nobody took all those things away from you. Yet we are obsessed with this topic. Our second obsession is constitution. Constitution. We talk more about this one than even corruption sometimes. Constitution. We want to go and talk about constitution. All these things, I want to understand why we like to talk about these things continuously. Because maybe if we understand why we like to talk about these things, I want to hear the opinions of people about this. For me, I have my own opinions about it, my reasoning, because I've asked a lot of people, and especially when you ask them behind the scenes. And the reason they give you, if you listen to it even, you can tell the answer is in the reason that they give you that they want to separate. One of the top one they will tell you is, it's not working. It's not working. It's not working. The second one is, they will say, the country is not giving us what we want. We don't have good healthcare. We don't have good security. We don't have all these things. All those things are the same thing everybody wants inside the country. So those are the kind of things you hear when people talk about it. But those are the things you should fight for then. Not fight to break up as if breaking up is going to create those things. Me, I don't know. I've asked myself this question. Me, I don't know whether breaking up is going to solve those problems. Because breaking up, the problem is still going to be there. You still have to solve it wherever you break into. Even if you make your street a nation, you will still have the same issues still there with you. Like here in the UK now. In the UK, they have their own nation. In Scotland, they have their own country. But yet, the power of that Scottish first minister, they call it, the whoever is this ruler of Scotland, is sometimes in some ways is less than the power of a state governor here in Nigeria. How is it a Scotland that can go to football competition and represent Scotland? They can have a Scottish boxer. They can have a Scottish flag. They can have a Scottish national anthem. But yet they have less power in the UK than some governors in Nigeria. That is why I ask myself, why is it that we keep talking about these things? If Nigeria is not functioning, does it not make sense to talk about the things that is not working in Nigeria and deal with it? Does that not even make sense? So that is my own take on it. I'm not going to force my own opinion on other people. Some people feel strongly about their culture. They want their own culture to have a nation. What I always tell them is that, but your culture had a nation once now. Oyibo came here, they found your culture as a nation. They didn't find your culture as Nigeria. They found your culture as a nation, and they beat all of them. Force all of them to join. They beat all of them like proper beating. And force all of them to join together. Because the cultures, the different groups that you had nations, you were not strong enough. As a matter, some of them spend a lot of time fighting each other like cats in a bag. Oyibo will help them now. Oyibo will give them God. They will give one Yoruba man gun. They will give Ijebu man gun. They will start fighting each other. One or you will fight each other. Oh, until when the time Oyibo man say, let me come and separate both of you. That is the game they played with us for years. And we lost everything because of that. The reason why we lost everything, because we don't work with each other. We see somebody that look like a Igbo man come from a land we don't even know about. He come here, help us kill each other, and we allow that to happen. Our sense not tell us, say, they could come together to push them out. And now look at where we are. My take is, if you have a problem, deal with that problem. Ask yourself whether breaking up the country will solve that problem. Ask yourself whether if you rewrite a constitution will solve the problem. If you have a corruption problem, deal with the corruption problem. If you have a security problem, deal with the security problem. If you have electricity problem, deal with the electricity problem. That is the problem, not something else. Because that problem needs to be fixed. Because wherever you go, the people that cause that problem that you have, they are still there. You still have to deal with that problem. And those people are the people that work with the British people. The people that they handed power over to during independence, they were their friends. They were their prodigies. They were their collaborators. Some of them, their family members have worked with the British for decades, since the colonizers. Some of them even before the colonizers. When the colonizers, they were working with them. When they wanted to hand over their children's children, they handed power over to them. And those people, their children's children now are the ones at the top of the Nigerian affairs. So if you want to deal with this problem, breaking up the country will not change that those people are still there. They are still going to be serving the people that they were serving before. That is why all of them are in Oyibo land now. You saw how one of the titles said that Shettima and Tinubu, none of them are around. Who is running the country? So I just thought I should say those things because I'm not going to be saying too much after we start the conversation. I'm going to be asking, I will try to make my question as sharp as possible, as short as possible, so that the panelists are the ones that are going to be talking, and so that we hear, so that everybody that is watching can hear the real reasons behind these things. Whether some people agree, some people may not agree with it, some people will agree with it. So I will get to the core of the reasons why people are truly agitating, so that if you are watching this program and we get to the bottom and you find out that it's not about your language, it's not about somebody is taking away your akwete or your clothes, your Yorubaness. If nobody's taking away that from you, if it's not about that, then why are we wasting our time having a conversation over and over and over again? The question should be the discussion you should be having is, how do we deal with the real problems that we are facing? Because I'm going to be asking certain questions about this, and I really wish somebody that feels strongly about being their own nation should come on. I will be happy to have them on. Okay, thank you for joining us, Tony. Okay, and Jefferson, I really appreciate you. And so, why are we obsessed about talking about self-determination, especially, I must say, in the South? When the North, they are not very happy, they talk about their own too. Whenever anybody is not happy, we are leaving this party. We are not is that much. It's the minorities. Although the Ijaws were the first to want to separate from Nigeria, but since then, none of them are doing that anymore. So I'm going to ask you, welcome, Oga Tony. Okay, why do we obsessed about these things so much?
Greetings to everybody again. Thank you. I think, moderator, you are spot on, and you just kind of summarized what my view is, and I have not moved away from it. I think that, like you said, the better way of dealing with your problems is not running away from it, but is identifying your problem, which is the first step. And once you identify it, then you find solutions to it. And there are models that we can find. The United States, from whose that we're trying to emulate in terms of the type of government that we run, although not hook, line, and sinker, had its problems. If you go back to history between the North and the South, it was serious. And America is more diverse, than Nigeria, more complex in its composition. But they have managed. It's not a perfect union, but they have managed to, come together, sit down, iron out their differences, and they moved on. So that is supposed to be a model, for us. Why we are? It's like what you see in the parties. You're in PDP, and then you have a problem. You shift to APC, and then you move from APC. You move to which other parties, and then you keep going round and round in circles. The problem is still there. So, and you can't continue to do the wrong things, and you expect the right result, because if you put in garbage in, you get garbage out. So I think we all know that we have a systemic problem because the structures are not working. Leadership is an issue. So, if we go to history, we'll see how it has taken one person, one leader. And we read it in history, how just one person has turned around, who is visionary, who is focused and determined, turned around the situation of a country, and they moved along. That's what leadership is, to influence people, to move along, to key into a vision that leadership shares, and get them to work and try to actualize that vision. Now, do we have such people? Are we committed? Do we have a goal? Do you have a focus? Have we set goals? Are we assessing the goals? Or we're just seeing Nigeria as a cash and carry thing? I'll see politics as a cash and carry thing, of you chop, I chop. Now, so long as we have that attitude, I have said somewhere, that if you take UAE, the Emirate of Dubai, just took one person, one man, who saw gold in a desert, and then articulated a vision, got people together, and pursued that goal and that vision. And today everybody is talking about Dubai. Dubai is not a country, it's an emirate in a country. And so, but it took one person who made sure that there's a vision, and he pursued that vision to its logical conclusion. And so our situation is one that is well, no matter how you want to look at it, we are endowed. We have all the endowments. If I used to say that Nigeria is perhaps the most endowed country in the world. No, but how have we managed this endowment? If we don't use it, if we don't, it's like someone who is cooking a soup. You have all the ingredients, and then but you don't mix them and match them in a way that the outcome will be sumptuous and palacious. It's gonna fail. So I think leadership is critical, and we must begin to ask ourselves, what do we really want? Because there is no way the same people who are going to break up. And I concede the fact that people have the right to self-determination. The same people who are within that same constituency, when they break up, they are still going to carry that attitude back. So there's nothing, that says that, if those same people move to, to another environment, that they won't behave in a particular. It is the law that keeps people, that checks people and makes sure that people conform, because human beings have a tendency.
So, but if I was to ask, why do they insist about these things so much then? Why is it that they like to talk about it so often? It never seems to go away.
Yeah, because that's the only way to win up sympathy, to whip up sentiments. If you go to religion or you go to ethnicity, and you see those who do that, people who have failed, who have no vision. Because if you present a vision that people can think through and see, you're more likely to have followership. But when you have failed, and then you just resort to all such sentimental issues, is my tongue, is my people, is my brother, is my sister, is my religion, and so on and so forth. And those things don't win. Maybe on the short run, yes, it will win you. And so you use that platform to achieve what you want. But the more enduring thing is what the Bible says, that it's righteousness, doing the right thing, forensic rightness. Any country that does the right thing will prosper. Whether it's a Christian country, whether it's a Muslim, that's a universal law. If you do the right thing, and we know what the right thing is, you will prosper. If you don't, you fail.
Exactly. Thank you. Jefferson, are you there, Jefferson? You are frozen. Oh
Oh
yeah, you're
yes,
there.
I'm very much available. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. Good
So,
afternoon. Yeah. Good
what
evening,
is
good afternoon, good morning, everyone.
welcome? I wanted to, hear your opinion on this. Why do you think some of our people like to talk about this so much, as if they are aware that this is a solution?
Okay, first of all, I want to thank you for the national anthem that was played before this show. No, you're laughing, but basically,
I
if you look
appreciate
at
it
it
to have
very, very
felt it.
well, no, yeah, as crazy as that national anthem was, it had more vibe as compared to what we are using today. Even though some people tell us that, what's the national anthem, it has some good words and all of that. Well, I mean, the federal government has, Tinubu's presidency and co, they have an idea of what they are trying to use that to achieve. But to me, I feel that the labor of Nigeria should not be in vain.
Yeah.
But for some reasons, on countless times it has shown that the labor of Nigerians past has continually been in vain. The hopes of Nigerians are dashed. You see, and this is a country where people are trying to do what they're supposed to do, but they don't get any value out of it. You know how frustrating that could be? Now, I will tell you why this self-determination thing has become a new normal. It has become a new normal because I'm sorry to say to my northern brothers, when during the time of Obasanjo, if I stand to be corrected, I don't know the state, whether it's Sokoto or what about, they had the plate number, is it Sokoto? You know how you have Delta State, the big heart, Imo, land of hope. In Sokoto, someone was saying, Sokoto, born to rule. And I'm like, okay, but that's a story for another day. Yeah, sometimes we use some kind of statements, especially when it comes to along ethnic lines, and it depends on the region you belong to. You say, northern, now we they rule, now we they control this, now we do that. So it gives a sense of entitlement. And unfortunately, when you do not stand within group or category, you are seen as a nobody. And it's only in a country like Nigeria whereby we are supposed to write an exam, maybe like a JAMB or WAEC, but for the fact that you belong to a certain class, even if you get 5/400 in JAMB, you can still be a medical doctor or an engineer. We all know that JAMB was tough at the time, but to some extent, we make some kind of things so ridiculous, and we kind of encourage, this kind of isms in our system, and people who put in the effort and they don't get what they want, they become frustrated. So you see this thing about self-determination. Well, all these things I stated, they are the aftermath. Or should I talk about, for instance, I had an experience in working in a power plant, operation and maintenance. I saw the national grid, no offense. I saw the national grid network. The central, what do you call it? The central transmission control center is in Oshobo. There's no problem because it's a Nigerian property. It's the property of the Nigerian government. But by the time you look at the network, you see some areas in the southeast not having more power connectivity as compared to what you have in the southwest and maybe what you have in the north. You see, these are what they call strategic tribalism at play. Now, am I trying to preach that here? No, I'm only telling you what is going on. People, government is all about giving back to the people. People basically need power, road infrastructure, medical, access to education, those basic things that is needed in governance, that is required from governance, people are not getting it. And no, let's not forget, all our fathers here in the time past, when they were in this, when they went to school, they went to school cheap. So then they even went with scholarship. But unfortunately, as time progresses, all the standards started dwindling and dwindling and dwindling. And even when people try to correct it, they will now remember that, oh, they belong to a certain class, maybe either they are Yoruba, Hausa, or whatever, and start to preach it amongst themselves to know who they want to put in power. And by the time they do that, people are not getting what they call it. People are not getting the good governance as deserved. You see this self-determination, of course, what is happening is that people want a way out. And of course, it's not going to happen overnight.
So are you saying that because of the problem that you're having in the country as a nation, that the services they are not getting from the nation is the reason why they gravitate towards separatist instincts and talk about separation all the time?
Yes. And I want to tell you, I want to reiterate something here. Yes, Nigeria, we have about 200 million or 300 million people. Yes, we have a good population. We always talk about how good our population is. But how well are we really harnessing it? A situation whereby you cannot cater for it is as good as just telling ourselves the truth and say, okay, let us find a way to minimize it and allot it in such a way that people are being catered for. You know, we always talk about, oh, is it driving? We talk about population so much, but we are not really getting to the nitty-gritty of allocating resources to those regions that need it and ensure that they are disbursed to do what they are supposed to do. You understand? There are other countries that are not even up to 10 million. There are other countries that are not even up to that 50 million. There are so many countries all over the world that are small. Well, the issue of breakaway is relative. And unfortunately, is a thing that cannot be decided by one person. Like, for instance, our politicians keep on during campaign, they will say, oh, our country is indivisive. Let us be together. Yes, being together is good. I also love that we are together. But if we are to be together, we should be done based on self-respect. Everybody needs to be treated with self-respect. And unfortunately, that is what is lacking in our country today. We don't know how to respect ourselves.
But do you think self-respect is why it is? Okay, go ahead.
So even if it's an Igbo man that is the president, I want to even say this, even if the Igbo man is the one that has been president since the time of the president for 30 or 50 years, and is treating the Northerners wrongly, treating the Yorubas wrongly, it is not good. Likewise, what is going on today. But at the end of the day, I all see this thing on the bigger picture as a script. You were saying something. Sorry about that.
Yeah, but do you think it's self-respect? Self-respect has anything to do with why Nigeria is where it is, in terms of the way we treat each other? Don't you think we respect each other enough compared to, like, even America? You see how they treat black people sometimes in America, or Hispanics. You saw what happened in. I don't know if you can hear me, with the riots.
Yes.
So you see this in many nations. Is that the reason why we are where we are in Nigeria?
Yeah, we don't have self-respect. See, forefathers, we don't really have. Let us not deceive ourselves. Unfortunately, I have to say this: we don't have. If we have self-respect, we abide with so many things. Okay, I'm going to bring one example here. Unfortunately, there was an incident that had to do with a lady who was. She's not. First of all, she's not even a Muslim, but she happened to find herself in. I think she was in Sokoto. I've forgotten her name. Now, when she was there, I think there was something that had to do with infringement of people's religious views. So I think she got angry and said some things on WhatsApp. And the Northerners in Sokoto at the time, they were furious. And unfortunately, because of the level of what they call it, of radicalism, they took justice in their own hands, and that lady was beaten up and burnt to death.
Yeah.
And the parents did nothing, and unfortunately there was no justice. Even somebody who was doing those things, they were proud to have done it, you know. And I will not lie to you. Even calling in Nigeria, let us tell ourselves the truth. Let us tell ourselves the truth. Most people choose where they want to stay today. So most people are afraid. Some Nigerians are afraid. Some Nigerians are more afraid to stay in other parts of Nigeria, as more Nigerians are comfortably staying in other parts of Nigeria. For instance, most Nigerians are afraid currently in the southern extraction. Even if they are staying in the north comfortably, most of them are afraid to stay there because they are afraid maybe something could come up. So those kind of things, it might not look on. You might not understand what I'm trying to say, but and when things happen and there is crisis and all of that, it breeds more and more distrust amongst ourselves. So that is why people
one can ask that though. Look at America, where a lot of injustice happen. You see black people, they get killed, and nobody really holds anybody accountable for the loss of life that the black people suffer. And yet, it's still the most powerful country in the world, even with all these problems that they have. So, how do you a kind of marry that with what is happening in Nigeria? Could it be because their system, at least to an extent, is providing food, schools, and a little bit of wealth for their people, that those things don't affect them?
Okay, yes. You see, okay, let's go into America. Everybody wants to talk about where it's happening. America, Canada, and maybe London, all these, of course, most of these developed countries. What do they have in common? They know they know the implication of standing by the people. Yes, they still have corrupt people in their country. So what do? They institute systems. For instance, they ensure that, in America, it might not be perfect, but at least if you do it right, if everything is done properly and you're within a good income bracket, you can be able to have good access to health, to facilities. Now, even if you don't have anything, at least there's still amenities, right? There's still basic amenities. What makes them a country and what makes them great is the fact that they have amenities for their people and they are still able to fend for themselves. They have good global. They have the best military. So the military is protecting their citizens. They stand by their citizens. The government makes sure they stand by their citizens and make sure they provide for them. It's not going to be 100. We don't have all the answers to what degree, but at least it cannot be compared to what we have in Nigeria. Yeah. And the leaders, the citizens can ask questions to some degree, and they'll be able to give answers to them as compared to what we have here. We are unfortunately. Let's come back to Nigeria. Coming back to Nigeria here, you will find out that when a leader speaks, none of us can ask questions. Forget about all the fact that they are doing these town hall meetings and all that. The town hall meetings, of what use is it if they'll just do it and there's no follow-up? So exactly. And then again too, when our citizens protest, of course, our politicians, they're very quick at sending the the armed forces to disperse the citizens. So it's just one of those anomalies we have in the system. So you were trying to say something.
Let me bring them. A4A says, how do you plan to divide Nigeria if you believe in that kind of stuff?
Okay. Well, you see, if we want to divide Nigeria, it's very, 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 very simple. Of course, the division of Nigeria it's going to come in steps. We have to ensure, first of all, that each unit is operating independently. You understand? Dividing Nigeria is not going to, if we say you want to divide Nigeria now, there's definitely going to be, it comes in so many ways. Either there will be conflict or whatever. But I think we just have to go by way.
It's going to come in stages. So what kind of stages are you talking about?
Basically, it will start with ensuring that the center doesn't have much strength as before. It still boils down to making sure that at least the local, what they call it, local governments are as powerful. I mean, each region has to be as powerful or more powerful than the federal government. It has to start from there.
Yeah. Okay.
It has to start from there.
So from what I'm hearing though, all I keep hearing is that because Nigeria is not working, and some of the issues that are present in Nigeria, respect for each other. Those things are all present in other countries. I have to say, they are present in other countries. I will repeat that they are all
Yeah.
there. We can see them. They protest about them all the time. But it never leads. You don't see a lot of their people running around saying they want to break up the country. Although they are there, but they silence them, or at least the people don't care too much about them because they're busy going to school, enjoying themselves, going on holidays, partying. So the reason why this question I'm putting it forward is because if we keep doing this, like we keep talking too much about this, is giving people that don't mean us well, people that want to take advantage of us, opportunity to divide us. If we keep opening it up, it's like we're just opening our weaknesses up. Was it not? They said because of the wall that is cracked, that's why lizard can go inside the house, something like that. So that if you keep creating cracks amongst your people, you are going to leave it vulnerable to foreigners. Like some of this stuff. Let me just play some of this video. I think maybe some of you have seen it already, of the Yoruba group that went to the UK to talk about this. Let me just play briefly.
And British join us. We are three: Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa. Yoruba ready to go, Igbo ready to go. Wow.
So as you can see, it's quite a festive atmosphere. But what that opens up is the same thing. Like I asked a question: if your ancestors are going to see you doing this, if they are going to roll in their grave, maybe you should think twice, because they know when they went to these people, Kosoko of Lagos, and his brother or relative that wanted to remove him from seat. When they work with the British, one of them is working with the British, the other one is working against the British. That fight that they fought, the British came, took Lagos, and they used it to take the entire Yoruba land. From Yoruba, there they take other parts of Nigeria. This thing that we are doing, we are opening up vistas of division. Because now, let me give you a scenario. Let's say President Tinubu, I don't know, nobody say I'm reaching conclusions here. Let's say President Tinubu wanted to do something good for us, and these people that Igboho went to now don't like it. What do you think they are going to do? What is the easy thing for them to do? They'll work with Igboho to destabilize the country. That is what is going to happen. And then when let me finish. When because our leaders are afraid that people like Igbo are there, that these people can use to make their life difficult, and they may not even succeed in what they want to do, they will just give up and surrender to that Igbo man. Because our people are the first to join the queue to betray the person that wants to do the right thing. Is that not possibly the reason why anybody that ends up at the top don't want to make good decisions for Nigerians? Is it because all of us are part of the equation too? Because if from where I see it, it seems to be that way. But Tony, please go ahead.
Yeah, clearly, forefathers, I think you again, I would say you are spot on. There was a Yoruba adage that you just quoted, and it's that if there are no openings in the wall, the lizard won't find accommodation therein. And there is yet another one that says, what makes the he-goat smell is in his body. So the stench or the smell that we are seeing, yeah, I'm still using that as a manner of speech that we are finding in the country is coming from us. And so, how do you uh, uh, fumigate or how do you deodorize that stench so that it will go on, so the smell will leave? You know, I think we all know what the problems are. We know, but we have not exhibited enough will and courage to deal with the problem. So we run away with the problem. And so every time, at every point, the problem is staring us in the face. Because like you said, there is
Sad.
no perfect nation. There's no nation that is perfect. There's no nation that doesn't have challenges. But what leadership exists to do is to solve those challenges, not to create them, not to make excuses. And this is one area, critical area, where we have failed as a nation. So I think, and because politicians have diverse interests and the competition is so keen, and our politics is do or die, it's really not structured, stricto sensu, in the line with the American system. Because if it is, and we are applying it, uh, you know, we won't have some of these contradictions that we're seeing. The 1999 Constitution has been amended, I think, about 4 times. American Constitution has stood still for so many years. There've been some amendments, but if you look at it on a pro rata basis, we that have had shorter experience in terms of democracy, have amended our constitution so many times, and there's still more calls for constitution. The problem is not ingrained in the constitution. It is in the operation, because the constitution is supposed to be the grand norm that defines for you how you will run your government, what should be the relationship between state and followership, and responsibilities, vice versa. So because we have failed in that direction, now we're looking for excuses, and we're not going to prosper that way. We're not going to prosper. It can't happen. If you look at look at Africa, for instance, you would see that in quite a lot of countries in Africa, they're asking for self-determination. You take Cameroon, you take Nigeria, you take Mali, you take Senegal, you take Sahrawi African Republic, the Sahrawis, in North Africa. You take Algeria, the Berbers also, and so on. You can just go on and on and on. And you see these things occurring. And you want to ask, what is the problem? Now, if you take it in relation to Europe or America, you don't seem to see that kind of demand. So what is it that is throwing up? And again, I want to concede that people have a right if they don't feel fine. But what is it that is creating this situation where people always want, to go away? What is it? Because until we identify, like the saying goes, if you don't know, there's an Igbo saying, if you don't know where the rain started beating you, you will not know where it's going to end. So,
Exactly.
so unless we identify the problem, and I think we know the problem, but the courage to begin to deal with those problems in a way that will augur well for the entire country has always been the issue. Because once you begin to do that, then you're going to, because I'm from this state. Oh, you did this because I'm not from here. Oh, you did it because I'm not a member of it. So And we are paying now for all the wrongs that we have done. Let me give you an example, painful example. I'd never worked when I was in Nigeria, never worked in the civil service. I swore that I would never work in the civil service. My dad worked in the civil service. He worked hard, he rose. Those were in the years when things were doing well, and you could go into the civil service, rise, irrespective of your qualification. You rise, you have prospects. You buy a car, maybe build a house, you retire, your pension is okay for you, train your kids, you're good to go.
Yeah.
But I grew up to see, when I finished from the university, and I had an uncle, he's late now, who was trained. Nigeria invested a lot of money on him, training him up. He was in aviation, and so he rose from the ranks, and he went to exams and so on. In fact, one of the exams that he came to do in Canada, after the exam, the whole lot who came all over the world, he came first, and they wanted to retain him. But because he was someone who has very high moral standard, he said, no, my country paid so much for me, I should go back to my country. And so he came back to his country. But I tell you, he regretted it. He came back to his country, and this is a man who will not take a dime. He will not steal a dime. He will not, all through. But he came to a point where those he trained, because he's Igbo, they will take people that he trained and put over him. They bossed in the people he trained, not because he was not good. They knew he was good. But because he had no one to speak for him, because he comes from a particular area where he doesn't have a godfather or nobody to speak to him. And I saw those things and I swore that never, I will not, this is federal service. I swore, I said I would never. And I never did. So eventually what happened? The aviation industry went down. Started having crashes, air misses, planes, disaster. The period when we're having all those things.
Yeah.
And we have to pay because this is something that we did. That's why I said, in pidgin English, the thing where make Obukon they smell, they for in body. Yes. So we know the issues, we know the problems, and we are paying now for those things that we have done. So the critical issue now is, is the answer secession? Is the answer to break up? Because if we break up, those people are still there. So it's the attitude that you bring. So unless you deal with that basic thing and change your orientation and your attitude, realizing that if we go that way, it's not going to take us to our desired end. So there is a need for us to sit down. I mean, when we go and play soccer, our girls are playing now, close to us here. They are playing in the World Cup, Junior World Cup for ladies. Now, are you going to say that because the best players are from the North, because we want to reflect the character of Nigeria, then we'll drop them and we'll do quota system? So, we'll do a further character, we'll refer further character. You're going to lose the match. You're not going to win. So if the best is if all of them, all the 11, they are coming from Kauran Namoda or coming from which state? Kano State. Put them there because the goal is to win.
Yes.
So, but if you now begin to add other sentiments and things to it, then you can't build something on nothing. It's going to collapse.
But Ogatonis, though, how do you talk to those people that believe, that say, this one, why are they the ones dominating this thing? Why is it that only them are representing Nigeria in the African Union? Even if they are the best, so what? Why are we not allowed to? Or some people, like in politics, they say, why are we not president? We are being marginalized because we are not president. So how do you tell them that, try to let them understand that these are peculiarities within nations? So in a way, that's how you are describing it, that these things are the way nations are, So how do you how do you make it clear so that they can understand that this is the nature of nations?
That's why leadership is critical. I give you an example with Switzerland. It's a small country, but it's also diverse in terms of the character of the people who make up that country. Okay, so what they do in terms of leadership is that they rotate leadership amongst the cantons so that they will give a sense of belonging to each and every person. Right?
Yeah.
So because of the peculiar situation that we find ourselves, you see, we can evolve a system where, okay, if the issue is that we want to get everybody an inclusive system,
yeah,
then you can devise a system where you can do rotation. You can, in fact, the federal character, the whole idea of the federal character is to make sure that every person is.
Let me ask you a question on that very point, because that's a stickler, right? If that's the way, if that's all it takes.
No, Pastor, hold on. Let me just add something to what he just said about.
No, let me ask a question first.
No, you will ask question. I'm not saying anything. I'm not going to take long at all. You're going to carry on. Sorry, Ogatoni. First of all, are you in Switzerland?
No, I'm in America.
Okay. So about Switzerland, they have this presidential council where they elect, I think, 6 people to represent the presidency. So among them, they will appoint one person to be their spokesman. Basically, that person comes out as the president, but it's the 6 of them that are present. So in the context of Nigeria, one can say for every geopolitical zone, which is 6, you can have 2 people come out from there. You have a presidential council of 12, where they will just select one person at a time. There are ways you can represent almost every group in a reasonable way in Nigeria in each term. So, but I don't know why we don't come up with these ideas.
Okay, it's there. In fact, what we are practicing now.
Forefathers, I think what you even said is even very, very valid, because that is the way to go. That will even foster inclusiveness, and then they will know that there's no motive behind anything. Because at the end of the day, it's very, very important we actually address this matter in our own little space. Because
you could throw out any fancy idea here, right? Nobody is gonna choose bad or just even good if you have better. If the characters in the country, every country has the character, the makeup of the country. Ours, in my opinion, is that we have an intersection of the Islamic tradition and then the Western tradition. So you have a very large quantity of people in the country who don't want the tradition that we have now, democracy, whatever jurisprudence, right? And they're not amenable to anything that in that way that would fundamentally bring about that kind of progressivity into the
education country. Is one weapon that will deal with that. Education is one weapon that will deal with that.
Okay, what if they don't want to go to school? Or if they go to school, they say, look, we don't want that kind of school. That's haram. Boko Haram. Western education is bad. We want to go with an Islamic school.
Education doesn't strictly mean there is informal education. There is formal education if you go to education. So you can always deal with this issue. Let me give you an example.
Hold on, Tony. I'm only going to be here a little bit at this time around. The precious time is the one I'm giving you because I believe in about 3-4 minutes. So I'm saying, without it being an abstract form, we have a country, at best, you have a lot of ambivalence. Like yourself now, qualify you as somebody who's indecisive, right? In the earlier show, you were in the school of thought that I thought it's progressive. But right now you're equivocal.
No, what do you mean? Can you explain that? I don't understand that.
What I'm saying is that you know the country we have, right? You know that we can't even get a constitutional amendment, for example, for us to have for the states to have police officers, right?
No, I don't know that. I don't know that.
Well, you could then tell me where that kind of stuff has happened. What is a constitutional amendment, for example, to that level where they don't try to have exclusivity to violence, for example. They wouldn't let the states have police. They wouldn't let a lot of things that would then make the country more democratic. You follow me? they may want to have Sharia law, for example, for 12 states, but if the South propose something, they wouldn't let it happen. So you have a country where he was just telling you, okay, you have whiners, right? People who are going to whine and say, hey, how come you don't let our people head the EFCC or head the customs? Yes, that's the situation. That's a direct thing that he said to you. So what I'm saying is that you're proposing a situation that can never work. You don't have a Switzerland, right? The example you're giving. You don't even have an America. You don't have a homogeneous society. So, okay, let me make it short. I'll make it very simple for you. Cite me an example since mankind, since caveman, where you have a 20, 30, 40% Islamic population, and then any other, be it Christian, be it Hindu, be it Jews, be it any other religion, right? Where they've made that kind of progress you're talking about, where they come together and they devise some kind of system, right? Economic, political, whatever, and it worked.
Okay, I'll give you an example. I'll give you straight. I'll give you straight example. But let me correct. I've been consistent in my view. Maybe you didn't get me. I've been consistent. Now I take Tanzania for instance. I'll give you Tanzania. Tanzania hold on.
Yeah.
Tanzania came together as Tanganyika. I mean, it was Tanganyika. Tanzania is made up of Tanganyika and Zanzibar. Zanzibar is predominantly Muslim and is an island. Tanganyika is the mainland, okay? Predominantly traditional African and Christian. When Nyerere became the president, he developed a system that is indigenous, a blend of Western democracy and African communal sort of democracy, quote and unquote, which he called Ujamaa. Okay, and they use Swahili. It was not the original. They have their own indigenous languages. They didn't use English. So he decided, because he saw the power of communication. And so they chose to use Swahili as a common language that they're going to use as an official language. And then gradually he developed a system that he called the authentic African socialism or democracy. And they have one party. The whole country has one party, the Chama Chapanduzi Party. And so they fashioned a system where, because he is from the mainland, they have a number of vice presidents. Once his tenure expires, then it will be the turn of somebody from the island. It was officially, included in the country's constitution. And Tanzania has held on to that up till today. And it's one of the most stable. It may not be one of the most progressive, but it's one of the most stable countries in Africa. And there has not been conflict over succession. And part of our problem is succession. Who becomes the president? Because it's like the winner takes it all. So every country has to. You ask for an example, I give you the example. I can give you so many other examples within Africa.
Let me say that the example I've asked this question, your Tanzania come as close as I've seen from others. That's a good example, but it doesn't really pass the muster, right? You said there's never been any religious conflict. There has been quite a lot, right?
Political conflict. I didn't say religious conflict.
I mean, oh yeah, but well, anyway, to me, when you talk about Islam, they're joined at the hips, culturally, religiously, and politically. It's the same thing. Do you follow me? Even if you fight in a war, then they might hide their. For example, they kidnap people and they put them in mosques. You can't search the mosques. So
I don't understand the point that you're making, sir. I don't understand your point.
You must say that a religious conflict is not a political conflict. to me, in Nigeria, what we have, a lot of it is religious, but it's actually it's political, but it's religious. Do you understand? When Boko Haram go and kidnap people, they're doing it because they feel that they want their own thing. It's a religious problem that we have. But I understand your example is Tanzania is the best answer I've gotten on that, but it still doesn't pass muster. The reason being that the majority in this case are Christians, right? It's 53 or more % Christians, right? Christians are waiting for the Muslims to modernize their religion. The Christians did theirs in the 16th century. So most times they accommodate. It's like what we're doing. We're provoked every day. We tolerate it because we know we're all Nigerians, we're Africans, so we take the nonsense, right? But now it's threatening us. But Nigerians are not Tanzanian. There's a lot of Nigerians, right? I said it before, a lot of ambivalence there. I count you as one of those. And indecisive, hesitating here, wavering. And,
Excuse me, sir.
No.
That is a wrong reading. You are entitled to your opinion, but that is a wrong reading of me. You don't know me.
No, I don't know.
You're just seeing me on the screen. You don't know me, so you can't make that aside. You can't make
that is okay. Let me just.
You can't make that. No. You are demeaning my personality, my character. You can't say that on air. That's wrong, and I deserve an apology from you. You can't say that.
Okay, let me ask you.
I don't think that's necessary here.
Let me find out.
Let me ask him a question. To demean anybody. Hello, sorry, Pansat. No. So somebody say this. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Pansat, please, since we are trying to have civil conversation, can you take it back? You can see that.
No, let me find out. If I'm wrong, I offer apology like water if I'm wrong, right? It's gonna depend. What did I say? That you are ambivalent, right? So let me ask you a question. Then
hold on. Let him express what he thought was out of line. Please go ahead, Tony. What did he say precisely?
No, he said I was in a program before this one. Yes, I was, and that I'm wavering. And then he used some words that I think is offensive. And I'm saying you don't know me. You don't. And I listened to you to explain to me what is it that I said that portrays that you are portraying me on social media in that light. You don't know me. You don't know what I do.
Please accept my apologies. And Pansa, please, make it right, please.
Will you stay out of it? Let me answer him. Ambivalence is not an insult. So I want to know if he knows the meaning of the word, right?
Again, look. Can you see that?
No.
Can you see that?
Forefathers, please, with due respect, we are here to communicate on neutral grounds. Whatever views we have is our own prerogative. You understand? What we're here for is to have like mind. And I can tell you one thing. What is happening here is a typical example of why
this is the reason why we have problems in Nigeria. Exactly the same thing he's doing.
You see this thing I just said now?
Am I going to be hard here?
Jefferson, please just hold on. Let me just try to it's a kind of resolve this. Pansat, I know you're a gentleman. It wouldn't cost you anything. You'll say, I didn't mean to insult you. Just take it back.
What insult are you talking about?
No, you felt like you were saying that he doesn't have principle. By saying that somebody's wavering, you're saying integrity.
We were in an earlier panel. He just admitted that we were in a panel earlier, right? And we discussed this same issue. And his position at that time is at variance with what he's saying now.
What was my position? Can you explain?
Okay. In the last...
What was the issue?
The issue is the same as we have now. In the country, you have people...
And what...
You have people who are regressing the country, right? You accept that the country is not moving forward, right? But right now, you are saying that the country itself you say the country could not be one in the last episode.
I didn't. I never said that. I never said that. I never said that. That has never been my position.
Okay, what's your position? Said that. What is your position?
Listen,
now what's your position?
I am saying what will it take away from you as a gentleman that you have misquoted me and you are painting me in a bad light to say, I'm sorry?
No, but I'm asking you so you could clarify.
No,
What is
I'm
your
asking you a
position?
question because this
You
is the
won't tell me
reason why we
anything.
have a problem in Nigeria.
The moment
The
you don't,
reason why this is just, if we
I don't
can't
care.
sit
Look,
down
Okay,
and discuss
let me try to
reasonably and
explain
agree.
where we cause the wire.
you're
Pansat, calm
leaping
down.
when I ask you what is your position.
Pansat,
If it's different from what you have now, then I will.
let me Pansat,
Your position,
Forefather,
let me just get him to understand what you are saying. Pansat, you said he held a position that he has made clear he doesn't hold. So can you just say that you misunderstood his position and take what he said back?
No, because I don't think I misunderstood his position. I'm asking him what's his position now, and then he starts
He's
telling me
already
what's
answered you. He's already answered you.
gentlemen, I have to leave. I'm sorry, I have to leave.
Me
I'm sorry.
too. Me too. I have to leave.
Come on, man. Look
It's
at
sorry,
that. They just fought their way out.
It's unfortunate. You see, it's unfortunate that we cannot behave as matured human beings. You see, all these developed countries we all want to be part of. Even in the Islamic part of, even our Muslim brothers, everybody, and of course everybody, this not have to do with religion or anything. You see, we want to be in a nation where everybody's views are respected. Everybody's existence is respected. People can carry their face high no matter what they do, but they can be able to stand up and say, okay, this is who I am, this is what I stand for. It's very, very important. It is very, very important. You know, now, irrespective of what they have been discussed here, I feel, we can be matured in discussions. As I'm here, I've insulted people, people have insulted me, have disagreed. But it comes a point in a man's life where we have to realize that we have to come to a general consensus and listen to ourselves and have a meaningful discussion.
Exactly.
Meaningful understanding. That is all we need to
and
do.
it's not even a very serious one. Tony, okay. Pansat is gone now. Please come back. You know, I value your opinion because you do have some
all. It's all. It's all. And that's the thing. You see, I'm trying to say, and that's the thing. This thing is the thing of ego. Ego. We are so egocentric. I will say this and I'll say this again. Nigerians were egocentric people. We want to show that yes, you must listen to my views. Yes, we must listen to each other's views, but we need to understand ourselves as well. And because there's so much misunderstanding, we can never go forward with that. No. And that's facts.
It's funny, everybody's saying goodbye, but the viewers are increasing. I don't know this kind of goodbye people are saying.
Nobody will come. Nobody will come.
Goodbye.
Look,
nobody's going up. Yeah.
You know, with due respect, before he speaks, I'm not going to call anybody. I'm not going to start doing blame gaming. But I felt that, the way Pansat handled the situation, it was, look, people are offended, right? And he said something to Tony. They could have just calmed down and say, okay, it is what I said. Try to at least align. That alignment was there, but instead, this one had his own view. He felt he knew everything. The other one had his own view. And nobody was ready to listen to each other. And because we don't listen to each other, that's why the whole thing is like this now. So sorry,
Tony. Okay, is he felt like his integrity was being impinged. Some people feel quite strongly about this thing because their family members may be watching. You don't know, and he's just saying, Pansat, he's a very tough kind of person. He doesn't like. He feels like he can say stuff, and people just accept it. It's not everybody. Tony, okay, is not used to that kind of a conversation where he just impinges in personality, is in integrity, and you get away. Not everybody likes that, and pastors refuse to understand. And but let me share something, about this thing where we say that our country is not working, and and you want to break up. I will share one other country in Nigeria, in Africa, that seems to be shocking me till today. I don't understand. If you say people are cursed in this life, this is one country that seems to have been given everything at the same time they seem to be cursed. Let me just share it quickly. And this is in Africa. So this country is the Central African Republic. First of all, what I'm going to share with you is so that you can see the irony of the situation here. That I can't explain this. This is some stuff that Nigerians really need to digest. If you're a Nigerian, you really need to watch this. You seriously need to watch this so you understand. This might also give you an impression of an idea of what is going on in Nigeria, that you have to be careful about talking about certain things. Look at that country, very big, isn't it? Relative to Nigeria, it's almost, at least half to third the size of Nigeria. But the population is what? Let me show you the population of this country. 5.something million. Even Lagos.
Sorry, we cannot see the information. It's not.
You can't see it. You want me to zoom it?
It's just showing. We're seeing the globe.
Can you see it now? Oh, you can't see the information. Oh my God, my graphics is messing up. Let me see. Can you see it now? Maybe I have to get it back again. Can you see anything?
No, it's not showing. It's not
okay,
showing.
I will do it again. My computer these days is making shakara. I have to change it. I have to change this computer. It's just doing shakara for me. Let me share it again there. So let's see whether it will work this time. Is it showing now?
Oh, okay. It's great now. Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
So look at the size of this country. It's almost the same size as Nigeria, at least 2/3 the size of Nigeria. And then that's the Central African Republic. And look at Nigeria here. Then if you look at the population, it's about 5.38 million. So not even the population of Lagos. It's not dry land though. This is forests. They've got everything, water, everything. It's not dry land. Massive land. And look at their population, 5 million.
I think we need to migrate to that place.
You know what? That's exactly what. That's the kind of stuff I say. If Nigeria had its act together, that is the place people need to move to.
I'm telling you,
when we are looking for land, so,
I will go there.
So Easterners are looking for land when they have such a lot of. So look at the land here. Free land for 5 million people. That's ridiculous. Imo State is more than the population of the country.
I'm telling you.
See, so now let's check now. 5 million. Then, if you look at birth rate, they are lower than the birth rate of Nigeria. And look at the life expectancy, is lower than that of Nigeria too. I think now it's gotten up to, let me see, is that the latest one? That's Central African Republic. Let me confirm. I said that they've gotten up to, which is not bad actually now, because it was very low at one point. Let me go back. I don't know what I'm checking the right data. So if you look at this number, in 2020, it was still showing 53 years. In their life expectancy. Then you go to the number of tribes in the country, about 80. But let me just show you some things about this country. When I saw some of this video, and man, just hear this.
Don't come here ever. But for those who do, survival is a gamble. The air clings thick with dust and decay, as if the city itself is exhaling despair. The airport is a gateway to ruin, where rusted shanties rise like broken teeth, framing a skyline choked by stagnation. Other African cities surge forward, modernizing, glowing in the dawn of opportunity, but not Bangui. Here, time is a prison, the streets scarred by the weight of conflict. You can feel the violence, ever present like a shadow waiting to pounce. Armed groups roam the outskirts, their whispers carried on the wind. The Wagner Group, Russian mercenaries with cold eyes and colder hearts, patrol the edges of chaos. Every corner of this city seems to scream, "Don't trust anyone." Even the land itself seems hostile, as though the earth had decided long ago to reject its people. 71% of them live on less than $1.90 a day, and you can smell that poverty. It oozes from the dirt roads, from the trash piles, from the eyes of children too young to understand how broken the world around them truly is. You can feel their resentment, the anger simmering beneath every glance. This isn't just a city, it is a wound festering. The country's population is shrinking like a dying heart. In 2022 alone, 6% of its people were wiped out, gone, forgotten, as though they had never existed. It was as if 2 New York cities had simply vanished. And yet, outside Africa, no one notices. No one cares. Bangui is a name whispered in the void, drowned out by the world's indifference. From France in 1960, the nation has experienced numerous coups, civil wars, and political crises, all of which have had a profound impact on Bangui. The city has been at the center of various armed conflicts, and many of its buildings bear the scars of war. With a GDP per capita of $492, Bangui's poverty is everywhere. Broken roads, collapsing homes, hungry eyes. The government is too weak, too fractured to rebuild. Debris litters the city. Entire neighborhoods lie in ruins, and no one dares to invest here. The city decays. The city is a scarred battlefield, its buildings pocked by bullets and bomb blasts. Its streets crumble beneath the weight of neglect. The lack of a stable government that can prioritize urban planning and development only exacerbates the city's poor state. Bangui's aesthetic issues are also deeply tied to the Central African Republic's economy, which is one of the weakest in Africa. The Central African Republic ranks 188th out of 191 countries on the Human Development Index, underscoring the severity of poverty and underdevelopment across the country. There are no factories, no industries, just dust and desperation. Most people live in shacks, built from mud and scrap, and 60% of the population struggles in sprawling slums. Unpaved streets turn to rivers of mud during the rainy season as the city dissolves around them. Infrastructure barely exists. Only 3% of the country's roads are paved, and Bangui is no exception. Potholes swallow cars whole and traffic grinds to a halt. You can't even reach parts of the country unless by river. Many of the main roads that do exist are lined with rundown buildings and shops, giving the city a neglected appearance. You do not want to be caught up in its notorious traffic jams. They say Burundi has the highest poverty, but you can get to every corner of Burundi with a vehicle and on foot. In Central African Republic, there are places you can't get to. Public services such as electricity, water supply, and sanitation are either non-existent or insufficient. The electricity flickers out more often than it stays on. Less than 12% of the population has power, and cholera stalks the open drains that line the streets. Trash is left to rot, filling the air with the stench of decay. There is no plan here, no order. Buildings rise haphazardly, informal settlements spread like cancer. There are no parks, no green spaces, just a cluttered, chaotic city gasping for breath. While other African capitals grow and modernize, Bangui stays locked in time, a city that refuses to move forward. Bangui's location on the banks of the Ubangi River is a curse. The mighty Brown River floods each year, drowning homes, sweeping away what little remains. Roads vanish beneath the water, leaving residents stranded. With no flood control, no drainage systems, Bangui drowns again and again, trapped in its cycle of destruction. Apart from this, the Ubangi River, choking with garbage and industrial waste, further diminishing the city's natural beauty.
So, Father, why are you showing us all these things?
Forests are gone too, stripped away by deforestation. The land is barren, the air thick with smoke from wood
I
and
think the reason why
fires.
I'm showing it is not essential. I think we've gotten the message already. There's no point.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why I'm showing it, this is, let me go back in this in so that we can shorten it. Now, when I also check for the natural resources of this country, look at what they've got. Central African Republic's mineral resources endowment includes copper, diamond, gold, graphite, ilmenite, I don't know what that is, iron ore, kaolin, kyanite, lignite, I don't even know what this, limestone, at least I know about limestone, manganese, monazite, quartz, rutile, salt, tin, uranium.
It explains everything. It's so obvious.
And look at this landmass for 5 million people. And they are not rich. And so that tells you what you need to know. That, and for me, if Nigeria could really do a lot with this space, we need this space here. If Nigeria gets their act together, we can really do some good work here. And they need the people, and they need the money. And if Nigeria got it out together, we can rebuild that country and chase all these foreign
Thank you.
people out.
You said it all.
So that's
And imagine we rebuilding countries like this with our capacity once we have gotten our house right. That will actually position us as the giant of Africa. But
yeah, you've not even gotten your house right. You are dreaming of other places. Can we just stop this thing?
You know, Amy, the future can actually influence the present.
By
if
who? Who are you influencing? Who do you want to influence?
You understand? Okay, hold on. Let me explain now. Why do you think you go and do masters? You go and study masters and PhD because the art of your future is influencing your present.
Yes.
So what he's saying is right. If he says we want to be able to do stuff for this country and build this country to enrich ourselves too and enrich them, their lives, it means to inform your behavior, you want to get your act in order. So it's not a negative thing to think, the way to think. Because if you need to do something to inform your behavior.
But look, you can't give what you don't have. You need to understand that thing. You can't give what you don't have. If you can't take care of your home and you're a father, your home, your 4 children and wife, there's a division amongst all of them, and you're thinking of going settling your neighbor's house where they only have the husband and wife are quarrel and it is even none of your business, because they will have to ask you what is the ground that you think you have to come and teach us what we don't know. Because obviously, even you yourself, you don't know it. Look, let us take our eyes off other people's property. Wait. Let me even give you some. Let us take our eyes off other people's property, number one. Then number two, the thing is that you think those who divided the whole African state, they had no idea that the population of Congo was that small and they allotted such a massive space to them? Because I believe it's not the Congolese who gave themselves that landmass. You get the point. They could have as well annexed some of those parts of that landmass to maybe to Cameroon or the closer countries so that it can make sense at least. 5 million to that amount of landmass. Who does that? So you understand that there is a reason why that is done, and it's because of things like this. So that because 5 million people can't really question.
I think it's because that central area was very, very inaccessible. And malaria was killing a lot of them when they got there. And I think it was Leopold or one of these people, they were scrambling for land during that period. You just went, that area wasn't heavily populated. So you just, take over the area. The French, I think it was the French that took that area. Then
the thing I have is this. You see, for me as a person, I think the Congolese should just come together and desire better lives for themselves. Otherwise, they will also just perish, and that will be the end of their generation. Sorry to say that. But that's just the truth. If they don't come together and solve their problem, then nobody's going to help them. And this is the thing. I believe that what they have is more than enough to solve their problems without trying
more than enough. That's true.
Yeah, without trying to manage everything. Look, it is about dialogue. It is about dialogue with this what do you call it now? With these stakeholders who are trying to destroy the place. And just whatever, if it is in percentage, you guys begin to share the resources, and then you have yours, and what you have, begin to develop yourself and grow your population. 5 million is not even up to Alagbado, for example, in Lagos State. So do you think that they can have big voice like that if they don't now ground themselves? Develop yourself first. They used to say something in Yoruba land that if you are not grown enough to handle the sword, you can't ask the death that killed your father. You can't ask for that death. Meaning that you must even first of all get to a point where you can now start dialoguing and demanding some things. Grow first. You mean I didn't even know that they are not even up to 10 million. You can just imagine. But that's my own advice to them. It might not be a kind of famous one, but I think they have enough to grow themselves. Except they just also naturally the greedy bad people, and that is why they are down. They are not down because the whites are keeping them like that. They are down because they themselves just want to be down. Their leaders want them to be down, just like normal leaders we have in Africa. So they should solve their problem and let us leave their land to them. We don't even have the right to. to start talking
What
about.
do you mean? You see how our people, we have been beaten so much. We people have flogged
There's nothing.
has flogged us so much that we don't want to take. Oyibo man come all the way from Oyibo land to come and cheer land, and when they tell you, maybe
no
you
be
should hold
Oyibo,
on,
no
now, let
be
me have my say now. When
no
they
be
tell
Oyibo
you
give you
that
land.
you be able to help your own brother develop, you say, oh no, don't do anything. No, you don't know that those Oyibo people that put that land, they know why they put the land there. Come on,
No,
man.
Look,
You
you
can
Forefathers.
help
coming from
brother.
the forefathers. Sorry, Jefferson, please. You are coming from a greedy position. That's why I antagonized it.
Okay, I get
When,
what
when,
you are. I get maybe
when
that's
you're
how it
trying to
came
say that
across to you.
we should take advantage of it, like we have to benefit from it. That's because of our benefits. No. That makes me angry. Like what makes you different from these white people as well?
That is not my
So
intention. My intention is
but
to
that is what
help.
you said. That is
Is
what
to
you've
offer.
always been saying.
Come
That is
on,
what
my
you've
intention is to
always
offer
been
value,
saying.
to help them build up. So
If you
Yes.
say that now, yes, I feel support you a bit. Okay, yeah, maybe you're making a bit.
so you think I just want to go and invade and colonize them?
That's what you're trying to do.
You think that's what my plan?
Go
I
and
have
listen
no
to
plan.
yourself.
Oh my God.
I have no territorial interest. You just need to spread. We just need to spread our leg a little bit. Nigeria is too congested. How would you be
I'm
to
telling
Lagos?
you,
It's too
You are not
congested.
Lagos is almost
congested.
40 million in that small landmass.
Na Niger State dey like that. We be say see the masses, the land mass. Yet it's not even taking one tenth of it to live on. So we are not too congested. Let us utilize our property
We are not
first.
too congested. We are the most
No,
congested part
we
in
are getting there.
Africa. We
We
are
are
too
getting there.
congested.
Bros, we are getting
It's
there.
too
Look,
much.
when you say congestion, the question is, do we utilize your resources properly? Look at land. Look at the way we build our houses for crying out loud. You can't build houses like that and you'll be crying of congestion, where one man believes that he should own a particular space all the time and you are not utilizing the space even effectively in the cosmopolitan areas so that you can have, all these beautiful cities that we talk about. Look at the way they utilize their resources. You can't, if you don't manage your resources well, you can't now begin to say you are congested. How many people are living on the top of life?
Amy, let
I'll
me
not
just
lie
show
to
you again
you.
now.
The same Oyibo way that they look, so sorry, no offense. The same Oyibo that you are looking at, say, oh, they
No,
are
the
managing
guy
their
they
state
look,
and all that. If they have what we have, they will still do the
Mm.
same thing. Let us tell ourselves the truth. They will have their
Amy.
own empire. And most
Amy,
of them that have money too. They have their own space and do whatever they
let
need
me
to
show
do.
you something now.
Okay, so
You
that means
know
I
how
will be.
Iran has its proxies everywhere. Small Iran, that Nigeria is bigger than has proxies everywhere. A good candidate for proxies for Nigeria. You can have one in this is Central African Republic, and put another one in this is Gambia, and maybe like Liberia and Sierra Leone. Very good candidate. They love Nigerians. Nigerians have gone to help them before. We should start because our influence. Then our big men, like me, like if you have a president in Nigeria now that will see Eme Lokon, Eme Lokon will show up and say, I'm interested in pharmaceutical. And the president says, okay, take this money, take 1 billion, go and set up a pharmaceutical industry. You start selling to all these countries we have major influences in. You will, come on, man, it's been win-win for all of us. That's how Europeans behave. They sell up big companies that sell to other countries like Germany. That's why Germany is so rich. Europeans are buying their products. So look at the land. It's very strategic and there's nobody there. And our people are looking for land, fighting for space all over the place. I don't understand it. Those days when our ancestors were there, there's no border. Nobody's stopping us.
Can somebody else talk?
Let me finish now. You go
Can
talk.
we talk?
I am AY need to speak first though. So when our forefathers were there was no borders. We will be able to move, but
Can
because
we
of borders now, we
talk?
can't move. Ferrari, please don't interrupt. So I'm going to be done in 30 seconds. So there was no borders before when our ancestors, before Igbo people arrived. You can move freely. Nigerians would have been able to move freely before. But now we are not allowed to move that freely because there is a kind of lockdown because of a nation that they tied us in. So that's why it's good for us to start thinking about how we can, move ourselves. We can't be restricted so much. I'll leave it at that anyway. The original conversation is about why we are so obsessed with talking about breaking up the country when we can go directly and deal with the problem that we are facing. If it's electricity, if it's security, if it's healthcare, education, we go directly and deal with the problem because other nations are getting it bad too. And how many times do we hear that Central African Republic want to break up? They have 80 tribes so, in that country. We don't hear about 5 million. How do you have 80 tribes in 5 million population? But somehow they do. And yeah, you don't hear about breaking up talk. Yeah, they are suffering like proper. So, but I will leave it at
Because
that.
there's a unifying factor now. All of them are suffering together now.
Are we all not suffering in Nigeria together? Do we look like? It looks like you are the one enjoying now.
Poverty.
AY.
Is it poverty?
Let's respect AY style. Let's respect AY style. You know, AY does have insights.
Sorry, Papa. Sorry. Before you respect AY's time, you know that this is the topic you ought to talk about. I only interrupted you, so I also need to talk as well. I've not spoken. That's
okay. Okay, yeah, you say you interrupted me. Okay, go ahead and tell us why we are so
obsessed. Talk. No. AY can go ahead. I'm only just telling you that you should remember me when you start to say people should talk.
We'll never forget Milokun now. That is literally your name. Nobody would dare to forget you. You always have valuable insights. So AY, you know, some of these panelists are some of the best. You know, they're elites. They understand ideas. So AY, please go ahead. Why are we so obsessed with this discussion? And is there any way we can, whenever anybody talks about these things, you just, get them to see what the real issue is and how we can deal with the actual problems?
You mean the self-determination?
Yes, self-determination. Everywhere we are getting it. Igboho is in London. Embarrassing his ancestors. All these sort of things. I don't know why we do these things.
Well, it is what it is, right? It's sad. Igbo, unfortunately, I don't think he has ever been to history class anyway. It's just sad. People that you are saying you want self-determination, you want to form your own country, you run into your so-called slave masters. It shows they don't even know what they are doing. Unfortunately, they were educated people with him in that journey. It's just like how a politician, they run to, what is that place called again? That evil house.
Shettima house.
Where they go to Shettima house to sell their life out. You see what's going on now. Even World Bank, they are even scared of the Tinubu policies. It's more like they are telling him, bro, we did say you should do all this, so you are doing too much. Now they kind of like gaslighting Nigeria, more like they removing themselves from the equation. Obviously, it's World Bank and IMF. He's working with their policies. That is what is destroying the country currently, with the lack of understanding in the oil and gas industry, removing fuel subsidy that is causing problem today without planning, without understanding of. They don't know what they are doing. I mean, anybody can fight for self-determination, but what are you doing? What is your whole plan? Are you just looking for self-determination just for having your own separate country without a plan? How are you going to move from there? So are you going to also depend on the so-called colonial master? Is that what you're doing? You want to pull people life to be worshiping these people that enslave you for over 400 years again? It's just madness. It's just madness. Instead of you to think along that way, why don't you just wait in the country and make sure the country work for you? I'm totally, completely against that. Even if you ask me, I think somebody was saying today, Nigeria, we have a lot of intelligent, smart, educated people. You have to our people, I have always said it, we have to localize our problem and localize the solutions. We can look at what other countries are doing to get successful in some area, but still the solution needs to be localized. There is no two ways. If we don't start doing that, we're going nowhere, trust me. Nigeria is too big to rely on anybody, to be honest. It's too big in terms of number, it's too big. It's there for education, enlightenment. Nigeria is too sophisticated to be relying on anybody at this point. You can negotiate with countries, you can have discussion around things, you can look for allies, but relying on country at this point, it is shameful. Just like somebody rightly said, the so-called giant of Africa, if we have really developed our country before now, develop our military, develop our economy, develop our infrastructure, develop everything, we will be in a pole position to help African countries.
Well, let me ask, sorry for interrupting. So, but how do you get them to deal with this issue more constructively? Because, like, do you tell them, can you imagine what your ancestors will be thinking that fell for the British during the colonization wars?
I don't
How do
really
you
think
get
that.
them to see that their approach is the wrong direction they're going?
The problem right here is they don't even understand the history. They don't know history. If they understand history, they will not even try it. They will not do it. That is what they need to understand. They need to understand history. I know Jefferson, I was the one that sent you that question. How do you want to divide Nigeria? I really love your answer. I needed to see your input on that because that has been my position. You see, Nigerians need to have discussion about Nigeria. There is no two ways. One thing I know for sure, Nigeria needs restructuring. How do you want to restructure the country? This is a discussion that needs to be open for people to have discussion. Anyhow, that country is going to work. Is it by local government, develop Nigeria at local government level so that the government is so close to the people? Is it by state? Is it by region? Anyhow, it's going to work. You have to open that discussion up for people to really think and come together, not fight, have discussion. Okay, how can we make this country work? Because if you have a country it's not working for the people, there is no need. It has to work for the people. Currently, the country is not working for the people. But the issue of this self-determination, people go to UK, go to America, go to wherever, they are just delusional. They don't understand the history. They don't understand where we're going. They don't understand where we're coming from. They understand nothing. So it's to me, having that discussion is a waste of time talking about them. But if there is anybody that can educate them,
if dismissing them, is that a good thing? Because they are there and they are always there. Because one of the reasons why it's good to engage them, because they are also vulnerable to being used to control the leaders you have in office too. Because if the leaders fear that, okay, let's say they want to do something good, let's say Tinubu wanted to fix all the 4 refineries and some British interests don't want that to happen, then they will tell him, if you do this, look at your predecessors, what we did to them. And, this guy, Igbo, who just arrived at our office, maybe we'll just encourage him. And then all those things you want to build, they will burn it down. You see what I mean? So that's why it's important to engage these people, because that's how they divide us and rule. Some people feel so strongly about this and they feel they are right. How do you get them to see? Because ignoring them, you just have more fight to fight. When you want to free your country from all these things, you have more fight to fight. That's why I'm asking the question, how do we deal with them? You don't just dismiss them. Personally, my own is that, like, I like what you said, dealing with the problem locally. Tell them, let's deal with it ourselves. Let's not cry to other people. I will just tell you, you remember the people you are running to right now, they are the ones that fell your ancestors and take over your country and enslaved you. Do you think your ancestors will be proud of what you are doing now? Just leave them with that question. That's as far as I can go. I'll go that far back. But if you say deal with the problem locally, maybe they will listen to you. But is there any other better way to tell them?
Yeah, I get your point. Yeah, that's a good way to go about it, right? But the other thing is the House of Assembly at this point, they need to know that people are not happy. They themselves need to look for a way to open up all this discussion around the nation building. You can't hold people down forever, to be honest. I really want Nigeria to be together, just like Jefferson said. We can develop Nigeria in unit, you know. How that unit is going to come, if it's the state, let's do better. If it's the local government, let's implement. If it's the region, let's implement. We have to look for a way.
AY though, and this issue, I keep saying it. The states are already quite independent. I don't know why we keep saying they are not. Like now, they just gave local government more autonomy, and still they are still giving money to governors anyway. And
I will not agree.
Let me see this.
They're still giving the money to the governors.
I would agree with you on that, but continue.
Yeah, we are actually playing. What you say they've given you autonomy to local government, actually, that's on paper correctly. It's not true.
Yes,
like you said, the states still have too much power. If we are ready, you will know.
Okay, what is the power of the state over the local government? What power does the state have over them?
Absolute power.
Like
absolute.
When you say absolute, what does that mean? The only thing I see is the governor being in what other thing?
The governor have every power over local government. Every
in power. what way now? Because they get the money. The local government get the money.
Okay, see it like this. Local government does not exist. The chairman, they are errand boys to the governor. Go and buy me chinchi. They go buy me pure water. Don't remove that one error. That is what is going on. Let me, in simple math terms, that's how we explain to you. They don't have any autonomy at all in terms of finance, in terms of project, in terms of anything. They are like useless. They are.
So what is the point of giving them money now?
Yeah, that is what we're talking about. So that's what you need to know. So the state governor take the money.
Okay, so how do you stop the state government from? Okay, tell me what law you are going to pass.
So
here is it.
That is okay. Let me give it to you. Now, what you need to know first of all, disband the State Electoral Commission. You don't need them. Let the federal government conduct election into state government, into local government.
You see what you are doing now?
Hold on.
You want to centralize it again?
You got to centralize it.
I thought it was the opposite we were supposed to be going.
Okay, look at it. Here is the problem, right? That's one way you can do it. The second way, you got to see, our governors are too powerful. The issue of giving governors complete immunity, they need to revisit it. Governors should now have complete immunity. It's nonsense. You give it there too much. You can give them some kind of immunity, but when you break this, you go for it. You can't see governors stealing $10 billion, say, oh, he has immunity. Oh, let's wait for 4 years. No, you don't wait. Get rid of him. Get him.
So what you are doing is weakening the states again. That we are arguing that we want to strengthen the states. You're arguing to weaken them. Where
hold on. Let me explain to you. Hold on. So what you have in the state is a microcosm of the federal, right? You need to set. There must be check and balances. The moment where there is no check and balance, for example, the House of Assembly, those are people you need to empower more. Let them follow the rule of law.
Let remove them. SUVs.
Those are the hold on. They are state House of Assemblies.
Okay,
so those are the one the governors are using. They are basically rubber staff to the governors. So once government get hold of those, that's it. That's what is going on. So they use them to make any laws they want. They use them to pass shady bills. They use them to do anything. So that is what is going on. So when you get hold of the House of Assembly, I said, look for a way where we have complete separation of power between the executive, judiciary, and the legislature.
But is there no separation? What
In
power
the
does the state assembly have over the governor? The governor have over the assembly, state assembly.
What? Okay, here is it. The state governors, they choose their speaker among those people. They make sure the party in power, majority of the time, they are in control of the house. So Any bill they want to pass, they just call them more like, oh, this is what I want, just go do it. But when you have a system where the state governors will not have power over House of Assembly, then the question is going to be different. House of Assembly members are going to do their work in terms of, you know, like if the governor like go above board, like if you have to go for impeachment, you go for it. But
Yeah,
what we
but
currently
hold on though, AY. What we see all over the world is if any party gets a majority, the state assembly works with the governors. They do, because you can't oppose your own party. Why would you? That the whole point is to your party winning and controlling everything.
Forefather, there is this problem is bigger than you think. Okay, even if you conduct state election today, let's say for example, APC is APC governor and PDP got the majority. You know, the next thing you hear, they will pop money to buy the PDP member, another member to the camp to make sure they do their bidding. They give them money. So the corruption is much. Like, I don't know, Jefferson, if you follow politics, you will understand what I'm talking about. The problem is so much that it's just too big. It's a big problem all over the country, all over. If you the state the House of Assembly, they don't even have power to do anything. They basically, even Wicked that is talking there, that's what he used to do in Rivers. Like all of them, to be honest, not one. That's why every time when I'm talking, I tell you, Nigeria politicians are the same, but people don't understand it. They are the same, except we really have a system that is working for the people. We'll begin to see changes. It from state to federal. Even that's what happened in the Senate today. The Senate we have today, they are rubber stamp. The president basically tell that this is what I want. Okay, that's what president want. So apart from during Saraki, yeah, there were issue of deliberation, like Senate doing their job. But right now, even the last administration of President Buhari, it was the same thing. So it's a problem. There is no separation of power. Separation of power on paper, but in practical terms, we don't have separation of power. The judges, they work with the state governors in the state, in the federal, they work with the federal. So it's all nasty.
But AY, I'm sorry, Ferrari. Sorry, I'm asking AY a question because I feel like this question needs to be asked. I don't know it myself, and maybe viewers don't know too. But when you say this separation of power, like in America now, I don't see the Democrats opposing Biden on anything he wants to do. I've never seen it where they will oppose it. So it seems like from the context of Nigeria, it's a rubber stamp relationship. Where I will agree with you that the assembly members don't show a lot of power, it's like in the scenario of the presidency that I can say. I've not really studied states. In the scenario of the presidency in Nigeria, where you have opposition party, they don't seem to be doing anything at all. They seem to be towing the line with the main party. I've never really seen a vote in the House of Assembly in Nigeria where you see a major opposition to the vote derail the decision. I've not seen it. So
that
is
is exactly
where I
what
will agree
happened
with
in
you.
the state. That's exactly what happened in the state. It's not different. That's exactly what happened in the state. Yeah.
But how does that happen? How does that affect the opposition party too? That is the trick. They are just looking for money now.
So yeah, it's the money. It's
fathers, make this thing go round now.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm just curious. Sorry, I'm just curious. Ferrari, are you there? Ferrari, thank you for your patience. Are you there? I know you're probably running around trying to get yourself
You
back
have to
on.
give Ferrari like 20 minutes to speak because this is not going to be allowed here.
Okay, go ahead now. I think Amy is.
No, I'm even fighting for Ferrari that we must give him time to really speak now.
Where is Ferreira?
Ferrari has been here for 15 minutes, and so yeah, I will be asking questions because I want to be understanding.
Maybe Ferreira is taking some cold water.
Okay, just a quick one. I'm not going to take it long. In addition to what AY said regarding the local government and all that, yes, it's so obvious that for instance, let's deal with the state government, state governance. It's so obvious that when the federal government gave the local government their financial so-called financial autonomy, when you get their financial, okay, sorry. Okay, sorry. I think there's an echo. There's an echo.
Ferrari, there is echo in your background.
Ferrari has been here for 15 minutes, and so yeah,
okay.
I will be asking questions because I want maybe Ferrari is the key.
What is going on there?
Ferrari, there is audio. There's something playing in your background.
I'm not going to take very long. In addition to what AY said regarding the with the local government and all that, yes, it's so obvious that for instance, let's deal.
Yeah, there is audio playing in your background, Ferrari. You will need to stop it so that we can hear you when you talk.
Okay, so let me be very, very quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Very, very quick. So basically, what I was trying to say in a nutshell is that when they say that the local government has autonomy and they just give them resources, that's not enough. The local government should be as powerful as the state governor. All of them should have that equal power. Just like, for instance, in the federal government level, the executive has power, the legislative have power, the judiciary equally have power. But unfortunately, we all know that everybody is leaning to the executive. For instance, the judiciary cannot even be independent for once and stand in the face of law. The executive, they just stamp everything just like that. Even though they have all the security apparatus that is guiding them. But in the local government setting, because that's our area of interest, it's more or less like they have given local government chairman, but they don't have the independence to do anything within their district because they feel that the state governor is still going to influence them. I know that the state government is in charge of them, but they should be able to have that level of independence. So what we are looking at is an independent. They will work within the confines of what they are controlling, but they should be able to be independent to take decisions that will be favorable within the localities of that state.
Yeah, thank you. Ferrari, please go ahead. Thank you for your patience. And the question is about, why our people are always going for separation as a form of solution to their problems. And is there a way, and especially they don't often deal with it constructively and it leads to problems like, Igboho going to the UK to go and submit petition to a former colonizer, and they could become a threat to whoever wants to do the right thing in the country because those people will use them to divide Nigeria. And then also, is there a constructive way to talk to them so that they can look at solving the problem inside the country instead of taking it outside?
Well, I personally joined the show because of the video you showed, and that video.
Is it me or I can't hear?
Shows, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, I joined the show because of that video you showed that was being narrated by a white woman or a white man, and depicting Africa in the same way they always do, that we are riding on top of elephants, we are shaking hands with lions, we are a bunch of underdeveloped people. But what saddened me the most is the fact that your own position, which is worse than the position of the white man's savagery, that we should now leave our land and go capture other people's land, go take it over because they have vast land and they have mud. There's nothing in that video that those people in Central Africa are suffering that we are not suffering. Let me just start by saying this to you. I'll quote a quote of a book you never read. Does the white man understand our custom about our land? How can he, when he does not even speak our tongue, but he says that our customs are bad?
Is it me or is
and
muted?
Our brothers who have taken up his religion also says that our customs are bad. How do you think we can fight when our own brothers have turned against us? The white man is very clever. He came quietly, peacefully with his religion. We were amused at his foolishness and allowed him to stay. Now he has won our brothers and our clan can no longer act like one. He has put a knife on the things that held us together, and we are falling apart. This exchange occurs at the end of chapter 20 during the conversation between Obierika and Okonkwo. In the discussion, which centers on various events that have come to pass since the arrival of the colonialists. Now, you showed a movie, a documentary movie by a colonialist depicting a part of Africa in a very negative form. And your idea is that we need to go educate them, improve them, and you have this moralistic superiority that you are entitled because Nigeria is the giant of Africa to go do that. You see, the white man has turned some of us into beasts, and we think like him now. We don't reason like Africans. We don't think like Africans anymore. We've been damaged. We are what Fela in 1977 called Mr. Follow. If you dey follow book, make you open your eye, open your mouth, open your sense. If you dey follow book, no follow am enter gutter, because na inside gutter you go quench. That philosophy you just exhibited is the philosophy of the white man. Let us leave our land and go conquer others. Let us go make those savages civilized. Let us go improve them. That is the output that you came with that video. And it is disgusting. And I think you owe the audience an apology for bringing that perspective to that video, honestly, forefather. You know, I'm always the one who champions elevation of conversation, not denigration of the African race. It is sad. Central Africa has land they can develop. They have gold. Let us go colonize them. Let us go show them how it is done. We cannot even run our own country. We cannot even develop ourselves. We are a shame to the black race, and you want to go help Central Africa. Let's leave that one. Let's talk on your topic. The topic of Igboho going to England. It's another Kolo mentality. Igboho is an illiterate, followed by a few illiterates who are using the people for their own selfish interests. Then they have to go back to their slave master to seek permission for him. Oga, wetin we go do? These are people who have no sense. Anyway, let's leave that one alone. But the right of self-determination is the right of every man. Nigeria, as it's presently constituted, cannot suppress it. Neither can you or those who are gaslighting the people. The Nigerians have to sit down and discuss whether they want to be a part of that charade or whether they don't want to. The British did it. Switzerland, Ireland, Sweden, all these countries, they did it. Belgium, we have the Flemish speaking area, we have the French speaking area, we have the German speaking area. If self-identity, they do it, why can't our people? The only problem is we have some people among us who believe that they can determine for others. They can determine how our destiny is. So we can't have that conversation. It is a legitimate desire and it is a legitimate conversation. If people want to stay, it's their right. If they want to leave, it's their right. Whether we are big or small has nothing to do with it. It's the preservation of our culture, preservation of our identity. Right now, we are undergoing cultural genocide, and these discussions needs to come to the forefront. But I was extremely disappointed at your angle to that video. That's why I came.
Regarding the video, so because it's a white lady that was narrating the video, the message of the video, okay, if that is the case, then we should be banned from playing any video a white lady is highlighting. And the context I was talking about is we assist our fellow African countries to solve their problem, because if it is mutually beneficial,
I think Fafada is
make or benefits of scale. If we cannot learn to work with each other to benefit the greater group, then you are going to remain small forever. That is the whole point of us not wanting to go back to where we were before. You want to cooperate. I talked about even other West African countries. The interest of Nigeria is not only in remaining in Nigeria. We have to be able to export our goods, if necessary, our culture, our things, so that it will enrich us. And when you say your people are suffering and you wish for us to remain small, how
And
is that
that
beneficial?
you don't
to
think
you?
that is the white
How
man's
is that
way. That's why they
enabling?
came to colonize us. Yeah,
I'm
you
not
don't
finished,
think that
Paul.
you
No,
are
let me
wearing
finish
the
what I'm
white
saying.
man's
How
outfit
is it
by doing.
beneficial to you when your country is not expanding and gaining wealth?
Why should your country
Oyibo
expand?
man,
England expanded. Where are we today?
let me
Rome
finish my
expanded. Where
point
are we
now.
today?
Let me finish my point, please. Oyibo people didn't take your permission to expand all the way from Europe to your continent to divide it and share land as they see fit. But when I say we should help our own people, you jump up and say, how dare you say that? We should remain small where we
You
are.
And
didn't put it in
somebody
that
who is
way.
on fire help
But that is
another person who is on
but that is
fire.
the way I put it. I say we
Does
should go and
somebody who is on fire help another person who is on fire?
that is
Don't you
my
quench your own
can
fire
you
first?
I agree with you on that point. I'm not disputing that. But I also said that if you have a future that you are painting, this is why I say, when Christians paint heaven and say heaven is a great place, it's not because you don't have problem right now. You have problem that you need to deal with, but because you are seeing that heaven, you are willing to deal with the problem that you have now. You will deal with it. You will have more resilience to deal with the problem you have now because you are looking to that great future. And this is where I think Shore is. There is no painting of a greater future for the people. And I think a lot of our people don't do that. Most nations have Somalia as a greater Somalia, Israel greater Israel. You always have people have visions. Russians have visions of greater restoring the Soviet Union, their greatness. The
Yes, they
British
have
they
the
want to restore their
Vikings.
power.
They have the Vikings vision. Let's go dominate other men. That's where we are today. I beg.
I think I just thought I should just share that with you because it's not,
It's
you
fair.
know, there's no
Can I
point
enter?
attacking each other. Yes, I know you have been. He's been part of the show, so don't think that I'm trying to deny you, Emilokon. He's been backstage, kicking me sideways, as much as he can from the backstage anyway. So welcome, this is Jago. So what do you think about it? How do we talk about these things? Is there a way to be constructive about talking about the divisive thing? Because taking it outside, we are making ourselves more vulnerable. And if you find out what they are actually demanding, they are just demanding a working nation. How do we talk to them to say, okay, why don't we just go directly to the real issues instead of talking about breaking up the country? Because you are still a Yoruba man, you will remain a Yoruba man. Nobody's going to stop Jagun from being Yoruba. Nobody's going to stop AY from Edo, or anybody that is Igbo from being Igbo. So why are we talking about this is when we should be going after the real problem? If Igbo went to the UK and say, why our refinery is not working, maybe I will have a little bit more respect actually for that. But if it will be embarrassing that you have to go overseas to do that, but at least you are highlighting something that is actually holding your nation back. Because being Yoruba, nobody's stopping you from being Yoruba. But
Brother,
please go ahead.
Hand it over. Thank you. You see, I wasn't bashing. What it was is I was listening and trying to make sense of what was being said. And I was very happy that Alaba came on and made some serious sense of this whole thing. The underlining thing about Igboho and the rubbish that he has done is that we are taking him as we're giving him far too much respect. Even talking, he is an illiterate. He's an illiterate. I don't know I don't know what's wrong with us. Why are we discussing the damn fool? Now, it's not to say that he doesn't have a point in terms of he wants a Yoruba nation. Fair enough. But he's an illiterate. I'm not following him anywhere. I don't know what the rest of you are doing, but I'm not following him anywhere. And I don't see that we don't see as he is. This is a damn fool who's gone all the way to London to damn fool himself. And where we are encouraging his damn foolery. You see, I don't like Nigerians. We follow a lot of rubbish. What you just showed in that Central African Republic, the Central African Republic is a country that's been through an awful time since its beginnings. And we've seen there that nothing has really happened with that country. But what you showed was the vision of Africa that African Americans detest about Africa. Those are the things that scared him about Africa. That look of Africa, where it's just downtrodden. Now, in terms of a conscious mind that has vision and thinking, we don't understand that, as has been said, Nigeria has the same problems as any other country. It's only a percentage of us that are living well in that country. Everybody else is suffering at one level or the other, which is why there are all these agitations. But none of us seem to understand the more we break up, the less we are. The more we break up, the less we are. In real sense, the way the world is going, because sometimes Africa doesn't seem to understand that the world is moving whilst we're standing still and going backwards. If we don't understand regionalism, and when I say regionalism, that West Africa and the Francophone countries are supposed to be under one banner. Yes, we have our individual countries, we have our individual ethnicities, but we are supposed to be a collective force in order to battle what the world is actually doing at this time. If we had what is called ECOWAS, and we include the 5 Central African areas that speak French and are dealing with the French currencies, under one currency, under not necessarily one government, but at least under one currency, so that there is an economic force there. And then the governments of all these different countries become kind of states, and they're engaged in conversation about how they are powering us and our people forward. This is the simple thing. But because we're all stupid and we have all these stupid ways of thinking, we can't eke out what is obvious. It's obvious. To me, it's obvious anyway. Nigeria is in a mess. We know it. It has a lot to do to organize itself. Having said that, part of the organization of such a large economy in Nigeria alone only becomes larger as an economy if we group up. We can have our security under such ethos. We can have a health procedure that goes across board. We can have an education policy that, again, goes across board. So there's understanding within a region of Africa. It'll be a world power within no time. But because we don't know how to think and we talk shit, I'm so offended sometimes when I just stop and listen to what people are saying. And I'm thinking, is this a way forward? This ain't no way forward. This is shit. What are you talking about? Why do we talk rubbish? Why do we like to engage in fallacy and rubbish? I mean, I didn't mean to come on. I wanted to really just listen. But thankfully, somebody came on and spoke some sense, and I wanted to back that sense. Because before, I was hearing rubbish. I was just hearing people talking because they have mouth, talking because they don't have to pay for it. Forefather, if you had to pay for the amount that you talk, you will be broke and you will be in the street hovering around begging. Because you talk. Sometimes I'm wondering, oh boy, are you hearing yourself and what you're putting out there? I'm not here to lambast anyone.
Hey, Jago, I have a question for you. So, what has Ferreira said? What have you said that is different from what I said exactly?
Oh, my brother, I'm not comparing you and Ferrero.
I mean our position on the issue of we were discussing self-determination. What was the difference?
You see, for me, my brother, what Ferrari said brought the conversation to the point of conversation. The rest of you, as far as I was listening, you are all talking rubbish, as far as I'm concerned. Rubbish. Not beginning, no ending. Just rubbish.
Okay, now that
wait.
hold on. You've just spent a long time saying everybody talked rubbish. Now
Exactly.
you have to stand on it. What did he say that was so
Exactly.
sensible?
Yeah.
For me, he took everyone on board. He underlined first and foremost that this guy called Igboho is a damned idiot. None of you said that. You are taking me as a whole philosophy.
Have we all discussed it? Have we all discussed that matter?
No, to be honest,
I've not even spoken on it. I don't think
I didn't even discuss on it, but anyway.
Maybe, my
Yes.
brother. Maybe not you. Maybe not you.
So you just
But
made
within
an
the
assertion
conversation.
that it's not tied to
Jago
what
is
happened.
obsessed with Forefather. Here is what I noticed with Jago. He's obsessed with people, just insulting people, calling people idiot, fool. That is what the language you understand. Like, do you have
It's
to
a
call
shame.
someone
It's a
an
shame
idiot
that that's
before
what
you
you're
know?
saying. That's what you're hearing. If that's wait, don't disturb my talk. If that's what you're hearing, wait, AY, my brother, AY. If that's what you heard,
hold on, Jago, hold on. What you just said, you said because we did call Igboho.
no, that's not the end. I was gonna say more. I could say more. I was gonna say more. You just wanna, brother. I'm saying what I feel. Whether it offends you or not, I can't help that.
You
but I was
can't offend anybody. I
didn't interrupt you when you were talking.
Problem with communication. You have issue with using language.
Okay.
I don't need to call somebody an idiot before we know. Like,
I didn't call you an idiot. I didn't call you an idiot.
Not me. You say Igboho. I said I don't have to call Igboho. I criticize what he did.
I didn't say that Igboho was an idiot. I told you that he may have a point. Listen, you know what you should do? You should listen to the point instead of feeling offended about what I'm saying.
No,
if you feel offended, wait, AY, please. AY, let me finish what I have to say. Come on.
No, I think Jago, it's your turn to answer questions because you made a lot of assertions that people were talking rubbish.
I'm not offended. I only said I agree with what Ferrari was saying. That is exactly what I said. I criticize him. I criticize all of them.
Did he say that made sense beyond what other people have said?
Exactly.
Be clear and concise with your answer.
For me, if you didn't hear what he said and how it made sense, he put to you guys that showing the video and kind of ascertaining the European mindset on what we are seeing, I think that was a failing. You know, when I understood where you were coming from, but you articulated it badly as far as I'm concerned, Forefather. And I do understand what you're saying, because there are many African countries that aren't really solvent. They're not strong. They're weak. They're broken. They're desperate. More so than even Nigeria is desperate. And they do need a lift up. But how? We don't lift them up by taking them over like European country. We lift them up by embracing them and understanding the issues that they have, that they're similar to our issues, and we bring them up because our policies for such a nation are accurate and correct. Not that we go, look there, look how green it is. Look, I mean, that's how the Europeans saw us, for real. That's how they saw us. They saw us like a bunch of jungle bunnies in a beautiful land that we can't control.
Jago, no. That was not the perspective. No offense.
Yeah.
That was not.
That's what you put out. It may not be what you. That's what you put out. You don't know. You need to go and look at this again.
Can I ask you a question?
You have serious
perspective. No. We are seeing them as our people who are actually suffering, and we want to make sure that we contribute our quota to help them. We are seeing it from an Afrocentric point of view, not a Eurocentric point of view.
Exactly.
Well, we are not helped ourselves. What gives us
exactly what I was talking about.
Let me say this. Wait, you're rushing me.
Low population, we can benefit from this relating with all this. I don't know why Nigeria it's not present there. They should be. We should be present everywhere because all these things.
Wait. You know the thing is, I tell you this. Wait, guys, please. The thing is, I don't know if you know where Nigeria is present in Africa. Nigeria and Nigerians, they're present. We are I will tell you countries that Nigeria are in that you won't believe that they're in. And they're doing serious business, serious industry, serious. But you see, I'm saying that there is a way that we have to perceive these issues and speak to them with an African sensibility. You may think that you were speaking at it at an African sense, but you were not. I was there listening. Remember, I was listening. You're engaged. So I'm outside just listening and looking. I'm thinking, my God, my goodness. I said that this conversation is extremely boring because it wasn't taking us anywhere, as far as I was concerned. I'm listening.
Can I say something, please?
How are you getting
can
so
you share an
excited by
insight?
something boring?
No offense, it's a
Father,
question to
let
you
other people
actually.
speak.
Can
Let
you
me
share
and
an
Peter speak.
insight on how we can help our fellow African brothers?
Well,
I think
it was Emme that said, and I know Emme didn't have a lot of input in the discussion. The people that really had deep input was Forefather and AY. They were
No, I never discussed anything.
Please let me
about
land.
No,
man.
I never said so. Hold on.
Let's
Jago,
someone
just say that you need to withdraw
because
it.
I think you've
I
had
never made
No,
mention
it's not. I think you
anything.
have. I've got a point. There's only 6 of us. Why do you want to take the camera away?
I think some other person was talking before
I
you.
never mentioned anything about Central Africa. I didn't discuss it at all. I only discussed
AY, this is what I said.
Uh-huh.
Something protecting yourself, like as though you
I'm
are.
not protecting myself. Don't
You
say
are.
what is
You are.
correct.
Just be quiet a while, please.
No, don't be the judge of everybody.
No, he's just being factual. That is.
Yeah,
he's not saying anything. I was still saying simply before you all get offended, because that's what you. I'm offended. Always crying.
Hold on. You've said your piece. You've said you came across as if we are talking about colonizing people.
I mean,
you said we came across as if we are colonizing people, and we are telling you that you got it wrong. You got the wrong.
Well, how do you know that you didn't get it wrong?
I never discussed anything about Central Africa. You just mentioned my name. I never.
I know.
AY, shut up, man. Shut up for a minute and stop crying.
Shut up, Jago.
I was just saying that, all I was saying,
let's get somewhere with this. I don't want this to turn to an argument. Let's not turn this to an argument. It's a simple issue. It's quite a simple issue.
This is unacceptable.
Jefferson, let's leave it. It's a simple matter. He thought that is what I was saying. I have made it clear that is not the way what I meant. If maybe that's the way I came across, maybe that's the way it came across to him. But that is not what I meant. And you have to think about it that from the person you know, like me, do I come across as looking to victimize people? You have to use contextual nature of somebody to judge them. For you to come on stage and say, I'm talking about colonizing fellow African people, that is not my approach to things.
I didn't even say that. That's not my words. That's not my words. Those were not my words.
Hold on. Don't interrupt me, please, because
stop trying to deny.
Don't interrupt him like he interrupts everybody else.
See, I'm trying to get you to understand where I'm coming from. You have to use somebody's nature to evaluate what they are saying, because you were so angry at the backstage and commenting and saying all those things. Do I ever look like I want to oppress our own people? Do I ever say anything in that tone? You should have said, okay, you came on stage and say, does that sound? Is that what you mean by what you just said? Because that seems out of place.
Like that. Don't deny. I don't like liars.
I agree with you that I may have sounded like that, but the way you came across attacking seems like you reached a conclusion.
Okay.
Without giving me the benefit of the doubt.
Forefather. Let me cool down the thing. For everyone who feels offended about what I'm saying, let me apologize to you if that's what you need. Yeah? Let me apologize. Yeah? Now, satisfy yourself with that apology and allow me to come through with what I'm saying. There's a way that we have discussions that are unprogressive. And we have to have some level of knowledge on what we are talking about. Emme, he was confusing Congo with Central African Republic. I corrected him. He thanked me. Emme was trying to say to you at the beginning that, look, man, how can we assist as Nigeria, all these other countries that are failing, when our own country is failing? And I think that is a serious point to begin from. Our problem isn't solved. You think we can go and solve Central Africa's problem because they only have 5 million people and they have all these riches in the land? We can solve their problem. We haven't solved ours. We're living in hell in that place called Nigeria. I mean, what are we talking about? You see, when we speak politically, I don't like all these minutiae of politics, to be honest, and I don't always understand the comings and goings of the politics that we practice. But on a macro level, the politics that I feel that will bring our nations together is that we need to be regional in that Africa, because regionally we suffer the same problems, which means to say that the governments of the 21 countries that I'm speaking about across ECOWAS and the Francophone countries, those governments need to be engaged if they are really looking to solve their problems. If that West African geography regional is working, I'm telling you, East Africa will get on board and they will regionalize themselves. South Africa will get on board and they will regionalize themselves. What we will be left with would be Congo, DRC, which is a major headache. They've been living in hell in that Congo since before anybody was colonized. Hell. And it hasn't stopped. We don't know half the problems that have gone on there. That is our golden calf that we're supposed to protect from the rest of the world. But we're not doing that. We're not even thinking, really. We don't think is what I'm offended at. We're not thinking. We're just talking. And I'm offended at it. I'm sorry. Because there are sensible people who are on this panel, who are on this this platform, that really, I'm telling you, the level of the way we communicate could be far more heightened, where now we are projecting a way forward in our communication. Simple things. We can't just come on board and start blabbing. It's very unfortunate.
Can I ask you a question?
Go for it.
Do you understand the concept where people say the present is a consequence of the future?
The present is a consequence of the future. You break it down for us.
It means, it's very simple, isn't it? Like when people go to school.
No. Don't give example. Break it up. What I'm saying, you say it. Don't start a sentence and then start another sentence.
Okay, good. The present being a consequence of the future, it means because of the future you want to achieve informs your action in the present.
So that's clear.
Exactly. That is why people go to university, because they want to do that ritual that they need to go through to achieve the future that they want. People go to church because they want an eternal life. So if you want a country that is exporting, has influence, and I'm sure you want Nigeria to prosper in the future, you want to start having those, painting that future, seeing the kind of future that exists. And that is what I was talking about in the concept of
I hear you.
Central African Republic.
I hear you. I hear you completely. But what you have said and what I have said in terms of that picture, that vision of what forward is, mine is much more clear than yours. Much more. But you're not listening as normal. You're not listening. You just want to have your own voice, nyama, 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 all day long. You're not thinking nor listening. And it offends me.
Okay, tell me concisely what you are trying to tell me.
What do you mean concisely?
Like
I've said it. That West African region, if each individual governments of these West African regions are concentrated on sorting out their own countries and their own countries' problems, and therefore coming together to think about regionally how we empower ourselves in the world that is going off key and crazy, and we as a people, we're thinking about we can be recolonized ourselves in no time. If any country in Europe wanted to come and take over Nigeria, they could do it, bruv. You're the one who's always talking about security. You know it to be true.
I agree with you 100%.
So
Everything I've
therefore,
said, it doesn't contradict it.
Jago, what is you just here to you took over the show that nobody is talking.
I didn't want to take the show over. Okay. You know, AY, you only attack me. You only attack me, not based on what I say.
Everybody, you can't do that.
I can do it. I can do it, and I've done it.
Let people speak. And you come here, you say, "Oh man, no, see, I never said anything about Central African Republic. Never."
Right, you're going back to that wound. I didn't wound you like that.
You say you
put the plaster on and be quiet.
No. We do respect. I believe all of us here are enlightened.
Let's not be insulting each other. We are trying to have. Let me put a rating for this because this is getting a little bit. All these people that have family members, I think I should be putting under above 15 and PG or something because this is getting to rated 18. You know, if you have children around, you want to move them away because Jago is here. He doesn't stop. Okay, Jefferson hasn't said anything for a while. Jefferson, where do you stand on this? I think we are going to move on from this so that it doesn't get too intense. We'll be talking about it for almost 2.5 hours now. So let's summarize. Pardon? Oh, you haven't?
I haven't.
You haven't?
Let me speak, please.
My apologies, Emilokun. My apologies. It's your turn. Please go ahead.
All right, thank you. So, first and foremost, I would want to tell Jagun that this is one of the things where the last time we discussed, I said sometimes you mix up your submissions, and they always appear to be you are quite opinionated, which is something I appreciate. But sometimes you just have to accommodate other people's way of speaking, and from there maybe try and distill their views a bit more. Because I think from what we have said, one way or the other, we might not have said it the way Ferreira said it, maybe the way he articulated the points. You fell in love with that, going to the quotes and all those things. Not everybody can do that, really. We just simply say something simply and we move on from there. But I don't think there's anything he said that was different from most of our views as well. So yes, in my opinion, that is it. And that is why we felt so, the way you, even if anybody should listen to you, the way you came in and you insulted everybody basically. And yet AY was trying to correct you. You said you don't care the way he feels.
I don't. I really don't.
And those are the things that make people angry, kind of.
And let them be angry, Joe. I don't know what to do. I said to you guys that you guys were offending me. Like, nobody came on my side.
Thank God you are not white. We would have said maybe you think you are kind of superior to everybody else.
No, it's not that. It's not that.
You should apologize meaningfully. It shouldn't be like a trash apology. Like
I said it wasn't a trash. You see, I gave an apology. You took it as a trash apology.
This is just, and I think virtually people can, you get it from the response of people. So it is not just right to pick everybody together and just.
As far as you're concerned,
so
but not as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. But
so don't talk about it. Let's just move on.
I have to, because you grouped us together.
Okay, talk about it then. Fair enough. It's your words. It's your time. Use your time how you wish.
Quiet and let us talk. There's no need to.
Okay, bros.
So enough. Don't try to have the last say, please.
I've had the last say.
No, Jago, you grew up now. Why are you behaving like
that? That is the point. Don't try to have
it's because you guys are behaving like kids.
Jago, remember, you spoke before Amy even. Amy was supposed to go first. We gave you the courtesy of speaking. So
you didn't respect Jefferson. You didn't respect anybody.
Respect other people back, please. Don't think you can speak good English and vibe all these things together. That means that you make sense all the time. No. So please, when we say you insulted us, you did. You can't just come and say, oh, what you've been saying are trash. They are bullshit. Because Ferreira came and gave you quotes and gave you historical perspective and you felt, oh, this is it. And where is the point he landed on? Is it not the same point we've always said that they should discuss, they should fight for themselves? Maybe forefathers might be totally different, which is what I queried personally. So what else again should anybody want from that? So please, when you come, if you feel emotional about some things, maybe you should drink some water, break it down again, and then come and pass your thoughts diplomatically. Not just you come here and think we are all your children here.
Bro, do I need his advice?
Amy, let's get back to the
I
topic.
don't need your rubbish advice, Amy. Keep your advice, keep your idiot advice.
That's the same thing he did to us. If he can't respect himself, he doesn't deserve that respect. That's the truth.
Do what you wish. I don't mind.
And then you keep
Okay,
quiet.
let's move on. Let's move on, please.
Father, you got to let other people speak. Jefferson is here.
Yeah. After Amy is done. Okay, Jefferson. Thank you. For your patience. You've been very, very patient with everybody, and for that you have a privilege to interrupt anybody as you see fit in the future. But what do you think? Where has this conversation landed for you so far?
First of all, I just want to start and reiterate that as human beings, we all deserve to be heard. I want to start there, And of course, in the Nigerian context, our voices were not heard, and Jagun will agree, and that's why that's why you're currently in the UK. By the way, because if you wanted your views to be heard, if everybody's views are being heard, would be in Nigeria. I know what I'm talking about. We come from a country whereby the elder speaks and the children say nothing. You understand? And that's how we have been groomed for decades, and has landed us to this mess today.
Yep.
And yes, it has landed us to this mess. And in terms of communication evolves. You see, we don't have all the answers. We're all here sharing ideas. So I feel we can look at it. Even if I say something now, I might not be 100% correct. I know I said some things yesterday on this show, and someone tried to correct me too for historical for context, and that is a learning curve. And because a learning curve, all I need to do is, okay, I made mistake here. I will go back, check it, and verify my information, and then I learn more. And that's where we are right now. We're in the learning stage. I feel the way we communicate counts. Look, I know people have opinions, they want to stand wherever they want to stand, but to be shutting people down, saying this is rubbish or trash, well, we need to really work on that. I know our views are divergent. We need to work on we need to respect everybody's perspective. I think that's what that's what I can see from this conversation. I don't know.
Thank you.
So
I really appreciate that, because it's true that we have to.
I have one
question. More patient with each other.
Father, please. I have one question for Jagu, especially. Jagu, I have a question for you. As an elderly person,
I'm not that old.
Hold on. No, you are older than us. Hold on. I'm just using context here. You are older than us. If you are called to, let's say, to discuss Nigeria issue, is this how you are going to have a discussion? Are you sure you can hold a discussion on a round table?
Fair question.
Yeah, yes.
Fair question.
How are you going to have that discussion?
No. That's my brother. I tell you, that's a fair question. I am one. I have different levels, different gears. If I'm speaking to people who are more intelligent than me, I would raise my level. If I'm speaking to people that are coming across with rubbish, and just because they are human beings, I must respect them with their rubbish, I would dismantle them anyhow. That's how I am. That's how I've been in my life. My parents, just like our brother said, I beg your pardon, my brother, I've forgotten your name, the one with the brick background, just like Jefferson. Our brother just said. Jefferson, thank you. He said that we, as Nigerians, as Africans, we are brought up under the thumb, where what the elders say, we take it as that and we don't reap. I never appreciated that upbringing. So between me and my 8 siblings, I was the odd one out of them, because I would not accept that level. I always argued with my parents, not because I wanted to, but because they were telling me things that were wrong. And I knew that they were wrong. So when someone's telling me rubbish, I don't care if it's my parents, I don't care who it is.
Let me further with the question, please.
Are you wait, bro? Hold on. Wait.
I love your answer. Let me throw in a question. How come on this platform you I've never seen a situation where you were able to hold a discussion without insulting people. I've never seen.
Well,
Does
that's
that
your
mean
proof.
everybody coming to this platform?
Okay, you've asked the question. You are
Yeah.
AY.
Does that mean you are a very intelligent person on this platform?
AY. I understand that you don't like what I said. I understand that. I understand it. But hold
you
your.
gotta change your communication.
No,
bruv,
AY, do you think I'm going to change? Do you think I'm going to? AY, do you think
Come on,
I'm?
Bro. You are not a baby.
Okay.
Bro.
Have you finished?
I'm done. Good.
Now, because you don't like the way I come across, I understand it. You're not the only one in that arena. You understand? You're not the only one. You're not special because you don't like the way I come across. All I am saying, but I do come across with truth, and I'm looking for depth of truth. I'm looking for depth of
subjective.
Wait, don't disturb me. Don't disturb me because you're offended. I'm looking for depth of truth. I'm looking for depth of understanding. I'm looking for intellect. And where I don't find it, I'll crucify you. I don't care who you are. Are you with me? I don't give a damn because I'm long in the tooth. This kind of discussion that we're having, I've been having it before this platform. With my parents, with my uncles, with my aunties, with all around. When any one of them talk shit.
Honestly, I don't see you. Sometimes you discuss like people that grew up in the hood, and I'm not sure where you really grew up.
But
I don't think
AY, take it easy now.
Rubbish. AY just he's offended.
He's offended.
We don't want this. It is very simple. Even if you grow up with a silver spoon or you grow up in the gutter, everybody should be respected. Please let us not go into our background. It is consequential in this discussion.
Jefferson, can I ask you a question, sir? Can I ask Jefferson a question, forefather? Jefferson, my brother. And you guys have to understand that I see all of you as my brother. I see all of you as my brothers. Okay. So whilst you are offended, understand where I'm coming from. Me and AY, we speak generally. I know there's many things he may not approve about my conduct, but it is my conduct. It is who I am. Now, Jefferson, I want to just ask you this. When you talk about everybody should be respected, are you talking in humanitarian terms, or are you saying that everything that everyone says needs respect? Is that what you are saying?
No, I'm speaking both in humanitarian terms and people's views.
Because so here, if I'm continuing asking you now. So if somebody is telling you that a man is a woman and a woman is a man, and they're telling you that, are you going to respect that view? Because if you are, you're a bloody idiot. And I don't mean to be abusive. I'm just saying.
I know what you're talking about.
Good.
See, of course, I know what you're talking about.
Good.
Me personally, of course, I've seen all these views. I say, okay, to your turn to Israel. I will respect you for what you are standing for, but of course, you don't bring it to my floor. It's my opinion. It is what it is. But we owe it to our society to stand for what is just.
Just. That I like that word. That word is great. You understand? Because what we are aiming towards is just and justice. And injustice, there is wrong and right. And when justice finds out that you are wrong, now off to prison you are. That's how we respect you.
All right.
Man like AY would have been locked up by now.
This is my point. You see,
you said what?
When he came in,
no, let's allow him to speak now. Let's allow him to speak, please.
When he came in, the way he came in and gave his first submission, he didn't come like he respected every other person on the platform like that. And he came and he submitted. He said all what he had heard, except from Ferreira's comment, were total rubbish. That means he listened to us. Now you asked him, what was Ferreira's landing point in summary that is different from what AY has said? or what I have said, except you, because you were the moderator, you were the one who was given a different opinion. I didn't really hear of Jefferson's opinion. And he couldn't pinpoint critically, except, okay,
you didn't allow me to. All of you guys were rushing me.
You had the whole time.
Fair
But
enough,
this is,
fair enough.
you see,
Keep going.
this is-
Keep
this is-
castigating me. I can handle it.
This is where I have an issue here. Look, if you had come and said, fine, you respect every other person's opinion, even though you don't agree with it, which is fine, and then you give your own superior opinion.
If I said that, that would have been a lie.
Please, and you give your own superior opinion, then you will school everybody and we'll listen to it. But you just can't come and rubbish all of us. Do you think we're all playing here and we just come and then we say, no.
That's what it sounded like.
Thinking. There's a level of thinking everybody puts into their comment one way or the other, even though if you don't appreciate that.
Can I ask you, Emme? Emme. No, Emme, let me ask you a question now, please.
You should,
allow me.
Okay.
All I want to ask you, there was a time when I was listening in the background, I wasn't here, and you came up, you had a laughing manner, but you were serious. You said, let's stop all this thing now. Why don't we stop all this thing? We know we have trouble in our own country. Why are we speaking? That's what you said. And when you began on that level, I thought you would carry the thing. You understand? I have nothing, as I said before, I've nothing against anyone here. Nothing personal against anybody. All I am saying is I was quite offended with the way the discussion was going. You, I think, tried to steer it in a different way because you weren't very happy. You know, I'm when somebody is, I imagine, you know, right now I'm involved in this conversation. So I'm part of everybody here. Those people in the comment section, they will be writing what they are seeing. You know what I mean? Whatever point of view they have, they will write what they're objectively looking at. So when I came on, I was very objective as to what I saw and witnessed and heard. None of you wanted to take it because as Nigerians, we're too easily offended. Everything is an offense. Language, wait, bros. Language has a purpose and we have to use language well. If we are not using language well and we are told that we are not using language well, it's not for us to take offense. It's for us to understand that we did not use language well. Simple. The rest is up to you to take offense.
When you say I don't use language well, that can be understood.
I didn't say that to you.
No, fine. But maybe you should listen to what people are saying. That's just the problem. But no problem. I'm only just saying that you should, if you want to, maybe you just go
don't give me advice. You keep giving me advice.
I'm not giving you advice. I'm only saying you shouldn't group all of us together. That is the point. And please, when you are talking about those who are commenting, sorry, please. Anybody that has a different opinion, who is a commenter, can come here and also come and discuss. Open his mouth or her mouth and say something. Let us see what they can say. It's different from typing behind the keyboard where you erase 10 times before you put your comment out there, and then you are trying to have a superior opinion over somebody who is on here and discussing real time.
If you are feeling inferior, that is your issue.
I don't feel inferior.
You must be, because you keep telling me that I'm superior.
Can we let this go? Can we let this go? We are trying to be.
Yes, let's let it go, bro.
Trying to be. Let's move on from this because I think we've addressed this issue as much. It looks like there are meeting of minds in different areas. But that said, I'm looking at different areas we can talk about. There is the UN, this thing, the World Bank discussion, and there is the issue of this thing, the wars that are going on in the world, where is it going? Because that is part of the events of the week. We all know about the passing of the mastermind, as they say, of the 7th of October 2023 attack on Israel. And we also know about the elections that the Democrats are, weaving, and they are struggling to withstand the potential win of Trump now. In America.
Trump supporter.
Hey, I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm just saying, if you have me to choose, that one should win instead. I'm not a Trump supporter. If I was in America, I would find an alternative party. I would look for the black guy that is running for president. I just vote. I move on from there. Then there is also the issue of the UN being completely almost useless now. It's like it's just a talking shop where people go and talk. In short, the weak nations go there. The ones that are not weak just ignore it and do whatever they like anyway. Russia didn't listen to it. America didn't listen to it. Israel doesn't listen to it. Why do we even bother looking at the UN, the Human Development Index, and all that nonsense? Is it even relevant anymore? So these are topics we can address. There's another topic too that I noticed. I don't know, maybe this one is for Sunday school kind of discussion, which is more on a different note. It's about how we plan for our passing. Do we think about the next generation when we are planning? Do we plan for our debts and stuff like that? Because the moment you hear anybody talk about should you have a will or should you have life insurance, they're like, you want to kill me, eh? That's your plan. So you see people start panicking as if that reality is not still going to come to be. And that element of our culture, is it holding us back from doing what we're having the conversation about, where the future becomes a consequence of the present? Because we don't plan for the future, it's almost as if we are afraid to think beyond ourselves.
How many topics are you introducing?
I'm introducing them. You see, Jago, Jago, you're not helping. Jago, you're not helping.
I didn't say that. I'm just laughing.
AY and Jago now are not together. It's okay. All these enemies of progress.
Don't buy Jago. Don't buy Jago. Actually, Jago did not actually insult me. The language he was using generally. Even when he's using those language for other people, I talked to Jago.
Let's leave it. Let's not go back there again. So here is that I'm bringing all this topic. AY, let's not go back to doing all this talk. We were men here. We shouldn't be going back to our insults and non insults. So I am just bringing all these topics as potential things we could talk about. But I just feel like that one is a bit heavy for today. I don't want to do that one. Let's focus on what the headline says there. Weekly news update. So let's go to Gaza and Israel and Hamas leader that has passed. Is that going to be the end of the war now? Are we all okay now? No more killing, no more dying, and peace will reign all over the Middle East. Jefferson, Hamas leader passing, does that end the entire thing? And what do you think about his passing? Do you consider him a freedom fighter, a terrorist, or both?
You know, that is a very, very sensitive topic because Israel is being seen as God's own state. Palestine, they have part of their land close to the Middle East. So, in fact, in other words, the thing of conquer and conquest, you know, and of course, it's a symbol of religious belief. So at the end of the day, we are looking at a situation whereby who is going to take over the state of Israel? And of course, it's not news that the American government is actually a great sponsor of the Israeli government, especially when it comes to war times like this. But if you ask me, yeah, the people involved in this last terrorist act, they might have been killed, but I don't think it's going to really solve much because, I mean, the people, as it is now, the area is heavily war-torn. It's so war-torn, and it has to do with, it's heavily war-torn right now. And it's unfortunate because the Palestinians feel that, that the Israelis are oppressing them. And the Israelis feel that, okay, that sometimes the Palestinians, they are always finding trouble. So to me, I just feel that I don't know, they just need to come to a consensus. So I just feel they need to really sit down and review their actions. But for it to say, is the war going to end? I don't think it's going to end. I'm sorry. That's all I can say for now.
Okay, the war is not going to end. Okay, thank you for that. I'm very, very encouraged. We are all safe. I'm very encouraged. Emiloko, where are you? Yeah, Emiloko is about to get past you. AY. So, what do you think? Is the world now saved? Hanua Senua, Yaya Hanwa is gone. And there are people that are saying now that it was a bad idea for Israel to release the video. that it seems to be galvanizing people against the Israeli state, because you know they were saying he's hiding in a tunnel, he's wearing bulletproof vest, yeah, this is bomb vest,
You
he's
know,
got 20 people around him, but the guy
forefather,
was the build is fighting Israeli soldiers in the country.
forefather, you know, we discussed it, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, when you said, oh, they say it's with hostages. To be honest,
Yeah.
he is a hero. For him to be on the
Yeah,
battlefield
you
as a
want to
leader,
get us in trouble.
hold
Hey,
on, hold
yeah.
on.
How can you say that? Eh? Are you trying to get Dr. Damage in
Hold on.
trouble?
Let me
Eh?
finish. For him to be on the battlefield, I mean, I was shocked. For him, like, I'm just wondering, I'm like, as a leader, like, people will expect him to be in another culture, be some tunnel. For him to be on the battlefield, give it to him, bro.
Yeah.
You
My God.
so I think I was just listening to some interview. Like, I think their thinking is completely different. They know, okay, I'm gonna die. Let me just die honorably.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there's a video of him saying such actually.
Yeah, it's that's the way I see it. It's more like if I go on it, if I go hide inside the tunnel, they're gonna kill me anyway. Let me just struggle. Let me just fight till death. But just like Jefferson said, I don't think the war is gonna end.
You're father of the nation. You have to take care of the children.
Let me
Father
allow
of the
Jago
nation,
to
eh? Yes. All right, Jago. So peace in the world for Hanwa Senwa is gone. And what do you think about them releasing the video? Bad idea? And you consider him a terrorist, freedom fighter, or both? And do you support his struggle? Or, where do you stand on this?
Fair question. I mean, there's a lot going on in the world, as we know. And between what's happening with Ukraine and Russia and Israel and Palestine and the West, America is deeply involved in both issues. And I saw a picture of his dead body in the rubble, the Hamas leader. And I was looking at him and it didn't look like him. I really had to look at his dead body, at his dead face, and see, wow, that's him. That's actually him. And he was alive. It looked like he was dead and decayed there for ages. Death is a serious thing. When you look upon death, it's not easy. It doesn't matter who died. When you look upon a dead body, it's like, my goodness, you mean to say the flesh is here and I can't see movement, I can't see life. The level of genocide that is taking place in what is Israel, because Gaza and West Bank are not different countries. They're just pens where they are keeping people oppressed. So from 1,700 people that died on October the 8th, we're really talking about close to 300,000 people, because there are so many people under the rubble, haven't been counted. We're looking at close to 300,000 people dead in Gaza. Now, this can't be justified. What do they call it? What do they call it? You just mentioned Palestinian. The Palestinian government. What are they called?
Fatah.
Hamas.
Hamas. Okay. Yeah.
Now, are they a terrorist organization? We all have to put ourselves in the position of the Palestinian. And we have to wonder, what would we do if we are living under that kind of terrain? Now, I'm not saying Hamas is good or bad, but it's all they've got. They've got no other voice. Because if you see, when you look at the news and they're speaking on this issue, they don't speak about Palestinians as human beings, man. They don't regard them. They speak about Hamas being terrorists, as though, the 5 million odd Palestinians that are left in that country have any way of fighting for their sovereignty, for their dignity. These people are living like animals. In Gaza right now, it's been 15 days since any trucks have been in there for food and water. How do you survive? There's no petrol going in there to turn on a light. There are of the 23 hospitals that they have there, 2 are functioning. 2. I mean, I don't really understand how the world is really allowing all this to happen. We're all powerless. All we can do is watch it on the news and see death upon death upon death. For me, it's the most wickedest thing in the world, and it tells us clearly, all of us, that we as human beings are very weak and disorganized against those who are very well organized for all this nonsense that's going on. The economy of Israel at the moment is trash. It's going backwards. However, because of the American backing, they are solvent. America's piling millions upon billions in there. So, you know, the rest of the world has to look at this in a balanced way. It looks to me like the whole world is against 5.5 million people. That's what it looks like to me. I'll end it there.
Yeah, you know, the question you asked about, you know, the comment you made about looking at debt and stuff like that, that may be the point of the entire thing. Maybe America is trying to send message to everybody. You know, if our African leaders see this one, they're like, if they can do this to these people, what they are not going to do to us. They will be thinking this is too much. We don't even want to hear about our life insurance, not to mention the contemplate our debt. So let me share the brief video about this, what happened, so that you hear from his own words. Because one lady was interviewed, the lady that interviewed him the last time said she approached him directly on the street in Gaza while all this was happening, and then he committed to doing the interview, and he actually lived by his word to do the interview. And his comment was that that the world cannot expect them to be the ideal these victims. That, you know, they cannot be the ideal. That's because the lady was saying, why are you doing terrorist acts? We cannot be the ideal victim. Personally, I'm not so sure about that though, but we'll see.
Wow. Okay.
Let me just play this.
This is what the Israeli army says was Yahya Sinwar's final moments. The leader of Hamas in a bombed-out building in Rafah throwing a stick at a surveillance drone. Moments later, Israel says he was killed by Israeli troops. It was a death the leader had expected years earlier.
The greatest gift the enemy and the occupation could give me is to assassinate me and allow me to die a hero at their hands.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and
so I just wanted to share that briefly. The point, the reason why I shared it is because you see these people, they are doing things that they don't, that is not their concern. It's what comes after. That is their concern. And clearly he lived by it. He wasn't hiding in the underground. He was on the surface, and people were busy looking for him on the ground with bombs and all the rest. He was fighting there like every other soldier. And it tells you that some of the image they paint of the people is not always true. You need to check more closely about a people. However, though, the question remains, is he a terrorist or a freedom fighter? Because he's killing innocent civilians. Jagun.
Bruh, I find it difficult to call Hamas terrorists, even though I don't agree with the way they do things from an outside point of view. You know, if I'm just looking at it and say, oh, why do you just bombed these people now? You know that the majority of the people that died in that October the 7th, they were military.
Yeah.
The majority. So it's not that they were just looking to kill innocent lives. They weren't looking to kill innocent. They were looking to damage the military. Obviously, innocent lives were involved, but because of the way we get news from the West, especially, we're just looking at diatribe rubbish. We're looking at their point of view only. And when we look at their point of view only, and then we buy into that, we're corrupted. We're corrupted to their viewpoint. I'm not one like that. I have to go and look out elsewhere. I mean, I don't watch television anyway at all. Most of my information comes from the net. You understand? In terms of news issues, and discussions and things like that. But because of how I grew up with a lot of different nationalities. So I know that people are simple human beings. Doesn't matter where we are in the world, we're all human beings. I remember the first time I met a Chinese person, after reading about them and wanting to meet a Chinese person. They were fabulous to me. Kung Fu, all these levels of soft power that they were putting out at the time. When I met a Chinese person for the first time, I liked him. And then I found out that, oh boy, you don't like me. He didn't like me because of the news that he was receiving from Awon Oyinbo that was poisoning his mind as to who black people were. So I had to take my time and wonder and understand how people perceive. Then I understand that it's easy to become myopic in your viewpoint by the information that you have.
Yeah.
That same Chinese boy now, he's my best friend. He couldn't believe how fantastic black people are because he now met and knew what it is to be black African. You know, we perceive things from an outside point of view, and it's great. I don't know what the Palestinian people need to do if they do not operate in some kind of violent manner. Because,
okay, Jagondo. Okay, I'll put the question to Jefferson too, because to be fair, finish what you are saying, then I'll put the question.
No, put it to Jefferson. I'm okay.
Yeah, the question is, it's fine to fight. You know, as a leader, don't you think you should force yourself to be disciplined and focus on fighting the military and the governments that are doing these things to you? Because technically, they do have the right to resist occupation. It is how they are resisting that is turning against them. So why risk all this thing turning against you when you could just focus all your energy on attacking the Israeli military and politicians, not innocent civilians? So, Jefferson, what do you think? Do you think as a leader they have to be responsible for putting their struggle in that context?
Just like I said earlier, you know, this war, the whole thing is more or less a religious. I'll see it from a religious standpoint. Is the way he went about it. If he felt he was being his territory being occupied or whatever, wasn't the way, and it's unfortunate. It's actually unfortunate, you know. And you see, they say there's a saying, when you do things in a certain way, like just like we are facing back home in Nigeria, where there's an issue of Boko Haram, you know, and they say they don't want Western education. And I mean, there's some terrorist attacks within the northern part of Nigeria. It's kind of, I won't say it's the same thing, but it is a clue. Now, even if you don't want something, there's a way to go about it. But unfortunately, it turned out to be a more or less like a major terrorist incident. Now, looking at what he did, I just feel the way he went about it is very, very wrong, and he didn't think about the consequences. And most times, because of like someone was comparing on the chat on the chat, someone was comparing what they call it Mandela to to Hamas.
Yeah,
of course, it's not the same. If when Mandela was alive, he wasn't going about bombing or killing people.
But he would have.
No,
if
he wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, so if he didn't go to prison at that time, if you read history, brother, what Mandela was looking at was an armed struggle, and they were looking at all places to buy arms from: Cuba, Middle East, all over the place. They were looking to do that before they put him in prison. And I can't see why not. I can't see why South Africa should have been under an oppression of some idiot white oppression and not fight back with violence. I can't see why not. So we always like things to be pretty. Oh, you shouldn't have done it. We like pretty things too much. We are living in real life. People are suffering daily. I don't know How do 5 million people who are oppressed by the whole planet, how do they have dignity? How? They've been speaking. There are women and children there dying on a daily basis. How do they have dignity? Oh, please come on. Don't speak pretty. This is not prettiness. This is not about pretty. Please, I don't want to be offensive or offend anybody, but I don't like pretense. I don't like. Nelson Mandela is exactly the same as what was going on in Hamas. It's only that the route took a different angle based on the pressure of South Africa and the rest of the world. In England here, they were calling Nelson Mandela a violent terrorist in the 50s and 60s. You have no idea of who Nelson Mandela is or was. You have no idea. The only thing you know is that you saw him walk out of prison after 27 years and collect prizes all over the place, and it seemed all pretty. Oh, that's lovely. See what? Nonsense. Nonsense. That's not what happened. If these things didn't happen, it would have been a very violent struggle in South Africa. To today, South Africa is a country that mentally is obtuse. They don't even know which way to go. They still have the oppression of apartheid in their land. What are you talking about? Please, please.
Can I read something? You know, people that are all these Chat GPT haters that think they are smarter than Chat GPT. I just checked Chat GPT just now. It did say that South Africans did get involved in violent acts, and there was a church bombing that was in there. They said they were targeting a military institution.
That was why I came on, because Nelson Mandela actually, with Thabo Mbeki and Oliver Tambo, actually carried out bombing campaigns in South Africa, numerous ones, and that was one of the reasons he fled to Nigeria.
Yeah,
he did carry out bombing campaigns.
So they do carry out, but I guess the ones going on in the Middle East is seen somewhat differently. And
It's not seen somewhat differently. It is portrayed somewhat differently. So, like Jag rightly said, what I want to know if Jefferson, how do you expect these people to fight back? If you lived in an open air prison, the Sinwar, for example, if you do not know, that is the land of his fathers and that is the land of his grandfathers. But him, he was born in a refugee camp. By the time he was a teenager, Israel captured him and locked him up in prison. He spent a lot of his years in an Israeli prison. So if you don't think, for example, that the way he lived and met his end is what they are presently breeding right now, because all these there's about 19,000 orphans running around Palestine right now. What do you think is going to happen to those children? What do you think is going to happen to the ones that are running around with one limb, half of their face blown up, their legs blown up, and they seen their fathers get killed and burnt in front of them when they told them, oh, go to the southern side of Palestine and go seek refuge there. And they go to the southern side of the Gaza Strip, but still they get bombed and burnt while they were falling asleep. What do you think is going to happen to those people? So to say they should, there's a way they should have carried out their campaign, I think it's not only disingenuous, it's also not truthful, because these people have also they've carried out, if you notice, they've carried out targeted and measured campaigns. They usually, they follow the Islamic doctrine of combat, which means they do not attack civilians. You see, even Iran, when Iran retaliated, not only did they notify Israel, they didn't have, they could have chose not to. They notified the United States, they notified NATO, and they told them this is where we're going to be attacking. So if you have any civilians over there, move them out of the way. And they targeted only military infrastructure, as opposed to what Israel has been doing for over a year now. And in fact, for almost 70 years, where they just focus on civilians just to bring terror into their hearts and just target them, maim them, bomb them with the aim of exterminating them. That is genocide. There's no other two words about it. So for anybody right now in today's age that supports what Israel does, it is accepted. Maybe if you were being brainwashed in the past without enough information, you could be forgiven. But if anybody today supports what Israel is currently doing, to, in a nutshell, you are just a evil person, and that is just what it is. No, it's just the truth. I'm not saying you
Bro.
personally. I said
Yeah.
anybody that supports what Israel is currently doing, which is basically, this is past just attacking people. This is past just bombing people. This is a genocide.
It's a
They are
genocide.
basically wiping people out.
Exactly.
They are wiping out lineages and generations of people. Almost 2,000 families have been eliminated, meaning these people lived for hundreds of thousands of years, and today there is no existence. There's no
Oh.
evidence of them ever being on Earth. I don't think people are thinking about that. They're wiping out lineages. Just imagine you were the last person in your family, in your lineage, and then you meet your end at the hands of someone that just wanted to take your land. And that's it. Whatever your fathers were, your great grandfathers were, your great great grandfathers were, they cease to exist. Your name is dead. It belongs to it's a relic of history. That is what people are going through in Palestine. So it is not right. And I'll just end it there. Like, we all know what's going on, and it's either we just deceive ourselves and lie to ourselves because of biases that we have, or we just face the truth and say this is injustice and it has to come to an end. I'll
Thank you.
talk to you guys later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
strike the trough.
You see, the thing is, sorry.
Wait. Let Jefferson come back. Uh-huh.
So listen,
hold on now.
do I support the words? Do you think I support the what that's going on there? I don't support the kind.
No, I'm not talking about you personally. I said it.
I know. Because I just feel like I said, most of all these things is being sponsored by religious beliefs, what we stand for and all that. And it's just I think it's a state sponsored terrorism.
It's beyond that, though. It's beyond that.
Yes. It's state, yes.
Jefferson, because I wanted to rub, but let me ask you, because this is the second time I heard you say that. Why, just briefly, why do you think it is it is based on religion?
Okay. Well, why I feel it's based on religion is because of I feel it's based on religion because of what the people stand for. It's just about a reorientation, you know. And
Jefferson, what do the people say?
On the basic skill, yes.
What do you mean what the people stand for? What people?
Well, people.
Let me tell you why you lost for words. Let me tell you why you lost for words. Because you haven't. Yeah. Let me tell you why. Yeah, I'll tell you.
You know, Jefferson, I enjoyed that. You actually smiled, you laughed about it. Go ahead.
Yeah. Why you lost for words is because, and I don't mean this as an insult again. This is the best way I can put it, because you've been brainwashed to believe that.
Well,
that is why.
I don't mean brainwashed in so many ways.
Well, no, I haven't been brainwashed in any way. So because I can tell you why it's not based on religion. I can state my position on that. I can give you a very, very, very good and astute case on why this is not based on religion. But you can't do the same because you've been brainwashed. You couldn't even say that, oh, okay.
I think something happened to him. You see, I think Netanyahu.
You guys awful. Come back.
No, I'm back. Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Okay. You push allow me to moderate now. You people are taking over the conversation.
Don't be like that, forefather.
All these rabbles. You people want to
start. No, forefather. A man is coming on and he's speaking sense. Allow him to speak.
Allowing speak now.
Let us speak the truth.
You see all these people. I need to.
At the end of the day, listen. At the end of the day, if it was the other way around, it wouldn't have been good too.
Forefathers, Jefferson, just 1 second, please.
Do you know that?
Let me chastise.
I know.
Jefferson, hold on. You couldn't answer it. Don't worry about it. Let's leave that. I just want to chastise forefathers because I've been trying to do it in the chat. Yeah. Your forefather's biggest problem is, as a moderator, he does not know when to chip in come in with good questions or be quiet. So we are
No,
having a good look at him again. So we're having a good,
no,
we're having a good back and
no.
forth. But of course, he wants to come on
These
with
people.
That is fallacious statement. How dare you misjudge my good moderating? I refuse to be accused of not letting people speak.
Can I say this to you, forefather? Do you know that when you are a panelist, that you actually speak far less than when you're a moderator, and it's supposed to be the other way around?
Actually, yeah. I see. When I'm a panelist, I wait for my turn, and I'm allowed to fully say stuff. I don't speak a lot. If you think about it, I actually time other
Bruh,
moderators.
you speak.
no,
And
he
I
does
know we
speak.
all
He
enjoy
doesn't.
you, forefather. The thing is, we all enjoy you. But
Mm.
there's a way that I don't know, you just don't know how to turn it on and off.
No, he
Because I
doesn't
want to
speak.
ask a question.
He doesn't speak a lot. He's like, it's see, this is where someone like Show and you know I love you, forefathers. You're my man.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
No, I play around with you a lot. I love you. You're my guy. You're my guy. But the thing about forefathers, this is where Show and Dr. Damages and KJ. Well, KJ is a professional. And I do like forefathers moderating. I think he's one of the best moderators.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
I think because he has a level, he's a very patient person. You know, we tease him a lot, we talk over. He's a very I like his style, but he needs to learn. He doesn't listen too much. He doesn't listen too much,
All
and
these
then
haters, it's okay. All these haters, you are going to keep hating.
I come.
I
Just
do
when
listen.
Just will come back.
So, but see, I wanted to say that Netanyahu made a mistake for coming out to say Yahya Sinwar was cowering and panicking and trying to escape. Then only for the video to come out showing the opposite. And you know, that person, I think they said that they might court martial the person that released the video. Only for the video to show that he was actually trying to fight back, and even when his hand was broken, the other hand he was using to throw. It just makes him look like a hero now, and he's becoming like a core celebrity now around the world. At least for the people that believe in his struggle, anyway. And the entire thing is backfiring. Look at some of the images that they are making of him now about this one. This one is very, very interesting, actually. You know how Che Guevara image started, spreading around the world. This could be something that backfires.
Che Guevara, Idris Deby. You
Yeah.
know, a general is supposed to be on the battlefield. You do not run. You don't leave your fighters in the front and then you run to the back. And I think this is what they do. A lot of Westerners do not understand about battling people with Islamic backgrounds. Because one of the biggest sins in Islam, and you could go check this, is fleeing the battlefield. That's one of the biggest sins. So you step on that battlefield, you're not leaving. You're not leaving. It's either your enemy capitulates or you get slayed. You don't go on your knees, you don't run, you don't turn your back and run away. So that's one of the biggest sins. So this is something I think they are not understanding, and they are about to get a rude awakening, because you will not only have to take them down to the last drop of blood, but even after. So these are people that are going to fight to the end. Generations are going to continue to fight, and generations until they get what they feel is rightfully theirs. They're not going to stop.
Yeah. And I've asked, even when speaking to Israelis, I asked them this question: that do they think they are going to end up on the right side of history? And because no matter how they try to twist it round and round, sometimes they don't even know. Like one of them, I told him that your society has moved right. That 70% of Israelis think the Israeli government is not going far enough in Gaza. Like they've literally flattened the establishment. They say they are not going far enough. He didn't believe it until I showed him the data.
15% of them have ran out of Israel to go back to where they're originally from. Ben Gurion Airport right now is like they cannot be packed. They can't go anywhere. They're all fleeing. So if that was really your home, you don't flee. You stay and you fight for your home.
Well,
Yeah, if it's your
people
home,
run when there is
you
war
don't.
now.
No, if it's your home, no, if it's your home, you don't run. You stay and fight. Yes, yes, you let the women and the
Um,
children. Women and children can go. If the men of fighting age, they stay back and you fight. It's your fatherland. It's your motherland. You stay and you fight. What I'm trying to say is this is the difference you're seeing between the Palestinians, the Lebanese, the Syrians, and the Iraqis, and these migrants from Poland and Bulgaria and Russia and Ukraine, where they just come, pretend it's theirs, say someone promised it to them, someone in the sky promised it to them, then all of a sudden, boom, they're all leaving. If it's your home, you stay and you fight and you take your land. You get what's yours. You don't run and flee. And there's gonna be more Haniyas. There's gonna be more Sinwars. There's gonna be a lot of them. And there's
mm,
people that have gone before, and there's gonna be people that are gonna come after.
mm,
And in the end, it is obvious the world is gonna see the truth. Thank God for social media. Every day I say that. I said, thank God for social media because back in the day when you discussed this with friends and even people older than you, they didn't get it because CNN told them something and MSNBC told them something and BBC told them something else. And you're saying, well, that is not true. So
yeah.
now, thank God, everything is being exposed. And in the end, that two-state, all their lies are being exposed. They claimed they wanted a two-state solution. Well, you even played the video like last week. I remember when I first came on this channel and I said it, I was getting shouted down. And I said, there's videos out there of Netanyahu saying he's going to do everything to make sure there's no two-state solution. So they've been lying to the rest of the world for
Mm.
years, decades, and everything is getting unraveled now. And that is the beauty of karma, and that is the beauty of justice.
You see, the thing about justice, it seems to waver when power is at stake.
Yeah.
Because is there justice in the front of for the Red Indians of America? Is there justice for the Aboriginals? I wonder, I really do wonder that if the power of America is weighted against the Palestinians, could they be denied true justice? Could they be lost in history just like the others have been? It really troubles me because some people get justice like maybe Mandela did. It is not guaranteed. That is
The,
what I fear.
the justice, karma comes in different ways. Karma might not come in the way you expect. The justice of America is coming in a very different way. One, by being blessed with crazy leaders like Biden, like look at the
Yeah.
choices we got now. Kamala
Exactly.
and we got Trump, two freaking lunatics. That one is effective and one is a freaking outstanding idiot. Then we have the flooding of immigrants from Mexico, Ecuador, Venezuela's most dangerous prisoners coming in. This is all karma. So if you think all of this it doesn't relate or correlate somehow, then maybe people just do not understand how the universe works.
Mm.
The red Indians are going to get their comeuppance. What did I
No,
call them? Red Indians. I apologize. Native Americans.
Native Americans.
Native Americans. I've been listening to y'all too much. They will get their comeuppance, and it is with the happenings of the world. That nobody's gonna when you do something bad, you don't get away with it. You think you're gonna sail off in the sunset and just go away after doing all kinds of evil and
But the
wicked to
thing
people?
is, what I'm
No.
thinking is, if you get justice, that I mean that the people that the injustice was done to should benefit from it by justice being done, isn't it? But even if there's some form of justice, karma justice that happens to America today, you cannot necessarily tie it to the Red Indians because they don't benefit from the justice happening to America.
Well, they do. I guess it just depends on how we look at karma. In the end, it's karma. So, however
Mm.
you look at it and however I look at it, it might be different. But in the end, justice actually prevails. And that's what happens. All of the world is gonna happen because it can happen. They've had the chance for the last 500 years doing committing all kinds of atrocities all over the world, and then they think they're just gonna go away with it. Well, guess what? Maybe the Middle East was that hornet's nest that they should have never torched, and they touched. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, the nature of justice is something we probably need to talk about
It's-
because that stuff can get very deep. Whether it's
yeah,
actual,
it is. It is. Sorry for fathers. It is very, very, very deep, and it's a very, very, very dicey topic. But you see, once a sect or an organization holds on to a religion or holds on to an ideology, and then they not and infuse into their terrorism mantra, it can be very, very, very problematic. It can be very, very, very problematic, and that's what we don't want for our own nation, Nigeria. What we don't want for our own nation in Nigeria. You know, we want to see how we can come out from all this craziness. You know,
well, should
and of course,
it not be the
yeah.
opposite? You said if religion infuses into this ideology,
No. I said if a crazy ideology obviously is infused into if a crazy ideology within the religious sect anyone belongs to is infused into our terrorism, is infused into terrorism. It's very, very problematic. I don't
but
get what I'm trying to say.
yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I'm trying to go the opposite way, like saying adding religion into it, should it not have corrected the path? Like, because one of the questions I asked earlier on was that the way Hamas is going about it, killing innocent civilians, should the religion not have canceled that part out, advise them, say that is not a good thing to do? You can fight for justice, but religion also says don't kill the innocent civilians, or at least innocent, not necessarily civilians.
I'll say, but my question is going to be because I like how Jefferson quickly slid in religion without explaining how it is a religious conflict. And I'd really appreciate if you explain that to us. I know you can't, but if you take the time, even if
No,
you have
I
to.
can.
Okay.
I
All right,
can.
give it a third try. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, good. All right. I spoke with the aspect of the Boko Haram. And what does Boko Haram stand for?
No. We're talking about Palestine.
Means, no, calm down. No, calm down. So Boko Haram means against Western education. So you are against something, but you are using the implements that was made from Western education to kill people. I don't really understand. So
No,
I think that is the kind of
sir. What does Boko Haram got to do with the conflict in Palestine?
I didn't say I didn't say it's the same. Anyway, I'm just like using that as a reference.
Yeah, so but you can't use it as a reference. Tell us how Palestine.
Let's focus in
hold on.
Middle East.
So tell us how the Palestinian conflict. You said you could. This is your third try. So you said you could explain how Palestine and Israeli conflict is religious based. So you please tell us that. Don't tell us about Nigeria. Don't tell us about Boko Haram. Tell us how the Palestinian, because you tried to slide it in. So just tell us how Palestine and Israel are fighting, and it's a religious conflict.
Now, I'll tell you why it's a religious conflict. You see,
try number 4.
Wait, come on. Let me say what I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
The center of look, whether we like it or not, from religious viewpoint, the main focus of attention is to capture Jerusalem. In fact, that's even the genesis of the whole fight. Who will take control of Jerusalem? And with due respect to Christians and what they call it, and people of Jewish and Judaism, you know that Jerusalem is the holy land that is ascribed to people of the holy land of Israel. So it has in fact, even within religion, mostly in Christianity and Judaism, that is the land that is more or less like the land that is apportioned for God's chosen people. In fact, it's a thing of context. So That's basically what it is.
Sir,
So, for a situation whereby, yeah, well, go ahead.
Sir, you've been brainwashed. Okay, there's nothing wrong in unlearning.
Okay, I've been brainwashed.
And this is why, yeah, you've been severely brainwashed too. So let's unbrainwash you a bit. Okay. So first of all, do you realize that the Orthodox Jew, first of all, the Zionist, okay, if you want to take it to that angle, it is the Palestinians are made up of Muslims, Jews, and Christians. You do know that, right? They're not just Muslims.
Yes, I know. We have, yes.
Thank you. So you do know that the Israelis today in charge, the overwhelming majority of them are not Jews. You know that, even though they claim to be. You know that. Good. So you know that they're Zionists.
Of course. I also know that we have, look, I also know that we equally have Zionists. I didn't even, that is a story for another day.
Who has
I know we have, yes, I know there are also Zionists as well.
Okay, all right, good. So
of
you
course,
know
for the sake of political correctness.
So you would also know that the Zionists do not believe in God. You know that, right?
Not necessarily. I don't know.
No, they don't.
You mean Joe Biden doesn't believe in God?
How is Joe Biden a Zionist, for Christ's sake?
He's a Zionist.
Okay, please just exit this conversation and let me focus on him, please. So you do know that the Zionists do not believe in God, yes or no?
Yes, I know, because they have an agenda. I'm aware of that.
Okay, so if you know that they have an agenda, how could they, and you know that they do not believe in God, then which God promised them Jerusalem that you claim they're fighting over?
It's just I don't know.
Yeah, and then
why are you trying to bully Jefferson? Jefferson, hold your ground.
I'm actually, go ahead. You can go ahead and share your perspective.
Okay, go ahead.
And then you also ask yourself why the Zionists mistreat Muslims, Christians, and Orthodox Jews. And then you have your answer. You understand that this is a political fight. It is a political struggle. It has nothing to do with religion. If you see how they treat, because the Orthodox Jewish doctrine, Jews, the real Jews, not Zionists from Europe, Jews that lived on that land with the Palestinians and the Christians for thousands of years, their doctrine is that they are not supposed to have any settled land, at least not on that spot in the world. So you have these people that do not believe in God, but they've lied to most of the world because they control the media, they control finance, they control mass communication. So it's easy to propagate a lot of nonsense to people, and people regurgitate it without even taking the step to go check and seek and see if what they are imbibing into their system is the truth or if it's falsities. You see how you are stumped now? That is how most people are when they find out the truth. This is not a religious fight. This is a political fight between an extremist doctrine, which is the Zionist doctrine of Theodor Herzl, and the indigenous people of Palestine.
So, but I want to ask you a question. Do you feel that some people in Palestine are not extremists, or in the Middle East? Is a question I have to ask. Is it that trough, right? That's the question I want to ask you. Do you feel that none of them they don't have extremists within their place?
You would have to explain to me what you mean by extremists.
You said that people are that the guys they have Zionists, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is what to protect and make sure that they have Jerusalem for the Israelites. Right?
No, I never said. I didn't. No, but that wasn't what I said. I never said anything about them having Jerusalem for the Israelites. That's what I said. Was I asked you a question? If they do not believe in God, and you agree that they do not believe in God, and we know,
yes, that I mean, the Zionists do not believe in God.
Zionists do not believe in God. So what God? Because if we have to go by the Jewish Bible, the Tanakh, the 5 books of the Bible, the Old Testament, right? The first 5 books, the Tanakh. if we have to go through that, not the Talmud now that was written years after the second fall of Jerusalem. No, not that. The original Tanakh, which is what David, the Psalms, the Book of Moses, talking about Isaac, all the books, the Tanakh. If we have to go by that, that is where God comes into all of this, right? So that
Yeah.
will be the Orthodox Jews, him talking to them. Now, if the Orthodox Jews are saying we are not supposed to have any land, but the Zionists is saying we're supposed to have this land because God promised it to us. But guess what? Don't tell anybody we do not believe in God. So what God promised them the land? It is a very simple question that I think people just need to sit down and really think about. And people, thankfully, this new generation is understanding these things.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
So the old generation was easy to bamboozle and lie to them and brainwash them. But the Gen Z, it is almost impossible because information is everywhere and it goes around like this. And you cannot lie to them. It is impossible to brainwash them. They know the truth. So this is not a fight. This is not all right.
Thank you.
I know. It's that trough. It's good you are sharing your perspective.
I
But
need to do something.
one I know is that there's we have extremists everywhere. That's just the
Yeah,
truth.
I need
Oh, I
to.
just wanted to understand what you meant by extremist because I don't want to put the wrong label on someone. You know what I mean? So I was saying, what are you meaning when you say extremist? Because context matters.
An agenda to conquer and to. That is basically what it is,
No, in the sense of the question,
and to impose your idea on people, or from basic definition, yes.
Yeah, okay, it's good, but I'm saying in the Palestinian context, which was the question you asked me, what do you mean by do they have extremists too? Because if for example I said they have extremists based on the fact that they are fighting back, that might not be fair if you have to take it like, okay, this person grew up in an open air camp, they've seen their parents die, they were fighting back, you know what I mean? So I'm not trying to just put a label. That's what I'm saying. If you explain to me in the Palestinian context what you mean by extremist, I will be glad to answer your question.
Okay. He's asking.
All right. I think I stop here for now.
I think Jefferson has given up on this topic.
I'm giving up.
Okay. So
what more tutorial?
So we are going to be moving to the next live stream because it turns out that we have to break the streams up to around 3 hours over the weekend. During the week there is no breakup of streams, and one wonders how that is. But that said, we're going to break it up now, so we're going to transfer to the next stream. And the next stream we'll be talking about, in short, I'll let you guys choose. You want to talk about the US politics, presidential election with the Democrats, Kamala Harris going to this thing, Fox News. And I think that was quite interesting how she came across in Fox News, because she was challenged and she challenged back. She didn't care. And Trump is looking to make nice with women. He's looking to Haley to help him with the women vote. I don't know whether that's going to work. And who do you support? Or we talk about other topics relating to the continent. We could talk about why Shettima and Tinubu are out of the country at the same time. Whether that is in short, I think we've talked about this a lot, isn't it? This thing, they just seem to be doing it and they don't seem to care. And nobody seems to hold them accountable for their behavior. So, and there is do you want us to talk about other areas that is more conceptual, regarding or opinion based, like the UN, whether it's irrelevant now? So, what do you think, Jagun? You raise your hand.
Sorry, my brother. I wanted to just ask. I don't know if this is a subject, but I wanted to ask about. I beg your pardon. I really do. I'm very hungry. I've been very busy all day.
You are not allowed to do that now.
I'm not. Is that the is
Then
Jago
what you are
Jago
doing.
always break the rules.
Get off
Finish what
camera.
you are
Get
Forgive
off
me,
doing.
terrible,
camera.
isn't it? Hey,
Get
why
off
forgive
my
me, for
camera.
policeman?
Get off
I
camera.
salute you,
forgive
my
me,
policeman.
Mhm.
forgive me for today, for
Finish,
father.
finish, then come back. Finish, then come back. So, also, regarding the UN, whether the UN is useless, which one do you guys prefer to talk about so that I can just put it in the topic? Then we'll go ahead and talk about that.
US election and UN, I think is good. I mean, UN, they are correctly, they are toothless.
Yeah, US election, isn't it?
US election is, yeah, I think it's a good election to talk about, though.
Jefferson, where are you on this?
It's pretty close. Nobody know what is going to happen, to be honest.
Well, to me, we can just talk more on the UN.
The UN one. You don't. You are thinking maybe we should talk about whether the UN is useless or it has a future. Okay. That's one-on-one. I'm not going to be a tiebreaker here. The chat. The people in the chat. Jago will come and express his own views. The ones in the chat. What do you think we should talk about? Because there is also the we could talk about something more philosophical. Or election matters. Oh, election matter has got another vote. Is that for this in AY? So election matters. So like there is also other areas we can talk about more philosophical stuff. Yeah, talk about yeah, Christian. We've had you. You can't vote twice. This is how rigging starts.
I think the election will be good. You know, let's go with
look at that. Jefferson, you really need to learn how to stand your ground. This place, you can't just be going with the wind wherever they go. Otherwise, you're not going to have any position at all. If you say US, stick to it. And you never know. Somebody wanted to join you in your vote, and you just gave up ground. There's always merit in holding your position if you believe that is the right thing to do. Christian wants me to share the link. I don't know who is Christian even. I'm not sure who that is. Tracy Jacobin there. What should we talk about? UN. Something to do with Nigeria, T-Pain. They are talking about T-Pain. T-Pain is back in Nigeria. I don't see what we need to talk about there. Something to do with US elections. It looks like those two are the ones people have picked up on.
Can I put this across?
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. You know, the election right now in America between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, it seems like a obtuse choice. Nobody has a choice, really. Left or right, you're just going to go wrong. So the same thing happened in England, whereby we hardly had any choices between the two parties. Mine is there any true leadership left in this world? Because to me, from the 1960s to the 1980s, I really recognized what politicians were doing, whether I liked them or not. Since the 90s to date, when I look around the world, I don't see any true politicians. I don't see any true leaders, apart from in the East. You know? So my one is there true leadership in this world anymore? Is there really any leadership? That's what I would like to discuss.
Is there any real leadership? Okay.
I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, it's what noting, even if not for today. So what is the actual? Is there any
true leadership in this world anymore?
Leadership. Yeah, that's interesting. In the world anymore. And there is this topic about how do we end wars against people in the world? It sounds like a concept or a thought experiment that is far-fetched, but it's actually very relevant to the state of affairs and if we are to have a future. And these questions may have an answer, it may not, but it's worth considering because I'm not even sure that it's that much more important than this type of questions. Because clearly we see the wars going on and how it could end. It could lead to a nuclear exchange that will put all of us in peril. So maybe it's something that we want to delve into. Maybe sometime tomorrow, how do we end this cycle of attacking each other? you know, and it might also have relevance for us inside our own nation too, because whatever it's going to take will probably have relevance even within nations. So maybe that's something we have to consider. So it looks like the US election guy unwillingly wants us to talk about debt, Nigerian debt. US election has no direct impact in African countries' development. It depends on who you ask. Oh. I don't trust some of all these politicians in America. They can come and invade an African country and you have a big problem on your hand. Just like they invaded Libya, it affected us. So it does have some relevance in our lives, even if we may not like it. America is very powerful. It's a very, very powerful nation. Our currency, everything is linked to theirs, and they influence our leaders immensely. So it's something we have to look into. Ari Nano says we should look into ministers, the new ministers. Do we have new ministers? I don't know whether we have new ministers. I've not had any real announcements on that yet. What else is there? So I think the US election seems to be the way to go. There's nothing wrong with talking about that, and you know, a lot of people may not like it. I think when we get the highest amount of views on this channel is when you are talking about things to do with tribes.
Let me throw another one in. Let me throw another one in. I don't really want to speak about this, but let me throw it in and see where we go. You know, all this stuff, all this horrible stuff about sexual misconduct with P. Diddy and all the filth that is coming out. You know, I avoid it. I avoid the news. But it's so much has been coming. I've been looking at it, and it's deeply disgusting. And it's not black. It doesn't, that kind of behavior doesn't belong to us. Yet we have taken it on such a level. P. Diddy and all of them committing rape, buggery, all kinds of filth. Where our community is going? Is this where America, an American black so-called culture, is that where it's leading us? I think we need to be very careful of the things that are coming out of America from our community.
Yeah, you want us to address that too in the next conversation?
Another time.
Okay, all right then. We are going to round up this session, and Kene, I see you backstage. We are going to go to the next one, and I'm going to share the link after I create it so that we can move from here in the backstage to the next one. And the viewers, please endeavor to join us in the, oh my God, that endeavor, I really don't like that term for some reason, because I've had a lot of corrupt Nigerian politicians use it. But it is what it is. It's a word. I will have to borrow it. Endeavor to join us in the new live stream. If it's not for you, it's all right. You know, even if it's two people, we'll find to have that conversation with them. And also remember to like and share. It's very important for Dr. Damages, and also subscribe to Dr. Damages. Subscribe to Niger if you have not. It's important. We want to be growing the channels. And also, as an announcement, this channel on Dr. Damages, the ones that are watching from Dr. Damages, by the end of the year, we'll be transitioning to the new channel, which is the Iroko Post TV. It's also doing a live stream right now. Let me see how many people are watching from Iroko Post TV. Not a lot of people. Most people are still staying on Dr. Damages. So we want to be seeing people join on Iroko Post TV. I think the reason why people join on Dr. Damages the most is because that's where people are, especially the ones that engage in conversations. That's where most people are. People like to be present where everybody is gathered. Nobody wants to gather in a where you know people are not many. So but I understand that. So and we want to be moving to the area where we are going to be going to, so you get used to signing on to Iroko Post TV, because by the end of the year there is not going to be any more Dr. Damages live stream. It's going to be coming from Iroko Post TV. It's going to be going to True Niger. It's going to be going to other channels. So remember to subscribe to Iroko Post TV and subscribe to True Niger. And Ken Yadi, you can join us backstage. I'll give you the link to join the new live stream. So I'm just going to put that one, make that one active now, so that we can transition to that one as soon as possible. Let's see. What is the time now? Even I'm not even sure. 1-1, and that one is showing.
Midnight.
Yeah, it's just about time, really, that we should get there now. Just about time to get there. Let me go in now. Boom. So yes, it's interesting, and we are going to be having a lot of conversations about. There are so many topics. I have more than 30 just to, that we can talk about, and we can take it slow. There's no real reason to just rush through topics. We want to really engage, with the ideas, and I think, and some of the stuff we're going to be talking about is going to involve philosophical ideas, thought experiments, concepts. We really need to be examining. Sometimes you can talk about nonsense, even it might come across as nonsense, but it's opening areas that we don't normally explore. And I think there is benefit to doing that, and so that it starts expanding our options and possibilities. Let me see. Yeah, I've got a link now, so I'm going to share the link in the private chat here, and I'm going to go live, and so that people can be able to start joining the live stream on the other end. I will be guiding from this end so that we can be able to, join what is happening on the other side. So let's go live now. All right, good. I'm going live now. Perfect. Jefferson is here. Welcome, Jefferson. I see you. Jefferson is on the other side already. I'll put the link there. Amy, if you are there, join the link and click the link on the private chat. You can catch us there. And I'm going to put the link now on. I should put the video link actually, because if I put this link, let me put it in the private chat in case anybody wants to join. The link is here in the private chat if you want to join the new live stream. And I will go on the YouTube page so I can share the link from here too. Let's see where it is. Boom. All right. Our people are joining on now. So I'm going to end it on this side so that we can move on. If you are watching on this, look for Dr. Damages again. You see the new live stream is on now. All right. So I'm just going to end it on this one with our favorite national.
Are you going to carry me along, or do I need to come out?
No, it's on the chat. It's on the chat already. You can click the private chat. It's there. Jagun, yeah, the private chat.
See. So I press on there. Okay.
Yeah, press on there. Take it to the next one immediately.